fellas, put the controller down. It's time to talk about the gaming industry. My name is TJ Leo.
Oh, that's good. I thought you forgot for a second there. And I am Andrew.
Just had to throw you off. Just had to do something different. Can't always be the same rhetoric, you know?
Yeah.
Gotta
Well,
mix
I do occasionally throw in something other than my name, but I can't do that every time, because then it'll be predictable.
Yeah, then everyone's just waiting for it. Although you could be known for that. Who knows?
Yeah, but then I have to live up to it, right?
That's true.
And it's not going to be as great every time, so I'd rather save it for when I have a good one.
That's fair. I like it.
You know what throws me off?
What?
When we're recording the show, our video layout is different from how the audience sees it, and the most prominent difference, other than it being portrait, is that you're on the right of the screen and I'm on the left. But when we publish it, you're on the left and I'm on the right.
On my side, I'm on the left and you're on the right.
Oh.
So it's only for you.
Oh,
yeah, I think
okay.
it just prioritizes you as on the left.
You always go into... Okay, yeah.
I think that's just how it goes. I think you can move them around, though, if you click and drag. I could be wrong.
Well, let's find out. It's either going to work or it's going to...
Screw something up.
Screw something up. Yeah, it doesn't seem to work, so I'm not going to mess with it.
All right, that's fair. Where was I? This is episode 17 of Press Pause, a gaming podcast. How are you, my friend?
Pretty good. I'm hoping that I'm done coughing. But, you know, asthma being what it is, it might happen during the show, so I apologize to anybody's ears.
Just aim it away. Aim it away from the mic. I'm going to try to aim it
away from the mic.
Yeah, all good. I'll be frank. I am tired, and I have a headache.
Yeah.
And this weather has been chaos.
Mm-hmm.
It's been as low as like 2 degrees Celsius and as warm as 23 degrees Celsius over the last like 3 or 4 days.
Yep.
So my body hates that. It hates pressure changes and it hates temperature changes that fluctuate that rapidly. And my head always ends up getting a headache when that happens. So yeah, I'm not 110% today.
No.
But with that being said, we still have a great show.
Yep.
Lots of interesting things to talk about.
Lots of things to talk about. My God, it has been a busy week for games.
It has. So let's start things off with, what are we playing? Do you have anything new to share?
Not really.
Okay.
Well, I was going to say the new thing. I probably won't have anything new until Stalker 2 comes out. But one of the things that's in the news is probably going to change that.
Oh, we shall see.
So we'll see.
All right. I have been playing some games. I have been replaying some games, I should say. With the exception of one. I have been playing The Last of Us Part 1, the remake. Because it recently came out on PlayStation Plus catalog. I've been able to play that. I've obviously played the original. But
so what happens? What happens when they do The Last of Us Part 1 remastered?
Oh, good lord! Yeah, that's a good question. I can pretty much guarantee you that after they do Part 3, there's going to be a collection, like a remastered collection of all three together. So,
do you think Naughty Dog will ever? I know I asked this question before, but do you think they'll ever do a game that's funny again, or is it just going to be? No.
Well, I feel like they might do another Uncharted game.
Maybe they should change their name to Gloomy Dog.
Gloomy Dog. Yeah. I mean, who knows, right? I mean, they might be sick of the doom and gloom and they want to do something more lighthearted. So
yeah,
we'll see. And we know that they have multiple single-player projects in development. So
yeah, that doesn't mean they'll all come out, though.
No, that's definitely not true. I think at least 2 of them will. I think because one of them will be Last of Us, and the other one's, like I said, I would bet on it being Uncharted.
Yeah.
But also might be something new. We'll see.
Yeah.
But yeah, Part 1, I actually have been streaming it for my sister. My sister had carpal tunnel surgery. So she is at home for 6 weeks with barely anything to do because she can't do a whole lot with an arm missing, basically.
Yeah.
So I've been streaming. We finished it, streaming that game this week. It's obviously not a long game, so we were able to get that done pretty quickly. And wow, is that game pretty?
Yeah.
Absolutely gorgeous. Yeah, it is not a remaster. It is definitely a remake.
Yep.
That being said, though, I think they could have done a little bit more because it really felt like after you've played The Last of Us Part 2, there's added combat features in that game that make the first one feel
Outdated.
outdated.
Yeah.
Yeah. They added a dodge to the second game.
Yeah,
That's
that'll
a
do it.
huge yeah, melee combat just feels so simple and not as fun in the first game.
Yeah, that's kind of like going back to Prince of Persia: The Sands of Time after playing Warrior Within, which, like, Warrior Within isn't an amazing game for couple of reasons, but the combat in that game is fantastic.
Yeah, it's absolutely great. Yeah. Yeah, the combat in the first game is serviceable
Yeah,
and it looks cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, I enjoyed part one. It was really good. It came with the Left Behind DLC. Played that as well, and it was good too. Definitely a visual showcase for anyone who owns PlayStation 5. So
Sure.
definitely check that out on PlayStation Plus for those that have that. It's absolutely fantastic. Now we have moved on to the Uncharted series for her.
Okay.
And because I have the Nathan Drake collection, which is like the PS4 remakes of Uncharted 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah.
And then they put out a PS5 version of Uncharted 4 and I guess Uncharted 5, technically, Lost Legacy.
Yeah.
So we're playing all those. We're gonna work our way through all those. First one is visually, I can't believe that game is like 17 years old. It looks pretty good for a 17-year-old game.
Yeah,
And it also
pretty
makes me
much.
feel very old that it came out 17 years ago. But it definitely feels old as it plays. You know, the animations aren't quite as crisp, or the animations don't like flow into each other quite as well. And
Yeah.
it also has this really weird effect in the jungle where like the foliage looks oversized. I don't know if that's a resolution thing or like what the problem is there, but coming from Last of Us Part 1 and then going to this, I was like, why is the foliage so large? It's very strange.
So that's a thing you sometimes see in games where it's usually a first-person thing where they, because of where the camera is placed, because of the field of view, a variety of things, they'll oversize objects so that they look the correct size from the first-person view. But then if you go third-person or something like that, you'll be like, "Whoa, this is huge!" Like I remember, that being a thing in Metroid Prime, because like Metroids are supposed to be about the size of Samus in Morph Ball form, maybe a little bit bigger so that they can like wrap around her, right?
Yeah.
But if you look at the Metroids in Metroid Prime, they're almost like the size of her standing up. Now, it's hard to gauge exactly because you only go into the third person in that game very briefly when you do Morph Ball, and then you're not like Samus standing up, you're Samus in a ball.
Yeah.
So you only have that split second where she goes in and out of it to judge, but it's definitely
weird.
Yeah, it's definitely there. If you happen to change while you're next to a Metroid, you'll see that, oh, these are way bigger than they look in first person. And since Uncharted is a third person game, maybe it's just, you're seeing
An
it all the
artifact
time.
of that. Especially with how old the game is.
Yeah, maybe they just wanted the jungle foliage to seem overwhelming. Who knows?
It doesn't look realistic though. It makes Nathan
It's
Drake
like
look
comically
small.
large.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It makes
Yeah.
Nathan look small. So it was kind of strange.
Yeah.
And maybe that was part of the remaster. Like maybe there was a problem with the remaster. I don't know.
Who knows?
But yeah, so having fun with that. But yeah, I told my sister up front, I'm like, just so you know, this is the worst game in Uncharted's series.
Yeah.
Two is maybe the best one. 3 is absolutely amazing, and 4 is gorgeous, but a little long in the tooth. That game is really long. And then Lost Legacy is just it's there.
Yeah.
It's more Uncharted. So. And then
Were there
finally,
like PSP or Vita games in the Uncharted series as well?
there was one Vita game, Golden Abyss.
Oh, okay. And
It was very good.
Is that in the collection?
No.
I hate
it.
when they
It
do
had
that.
a lot of Vita specific functionality. So
They can find ways around that.
yeah, I suppose so. But they have not, and it wasn't made by Naughty Dog, so that might be why as well. I think that
Okay.
was made by Ready at Dawn, if I remember correctly, who are now
Okay.
gone, ceased to exist. But it was a great game, though. I remember that game fondly. I remember one of the features was like you had to hold up like these maps that you would find up to a light, like an actual light, like it would use the camera on the Vita,
That's
and
neat.
you'd be able to see things that weren't there
Oh,
previously.
that's cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
stuff like
I
that.
dig that.
Yeah, very cool.
You could reproduce that in game by like actually having him hold the map in like a first person mode and having to put it up against a light.
Yeah,
But I get the tactility of doing it with the Vita.
yeah, and I think like throwing grenades was with the touchscreen, if I remember correctly. So they'd have to edit that as well. Just a lot of stuff like that.
That
There was
that
something on
feels
the
like
back, but the back pad. There was a I can't.
yeah yeah the touchpad on the back. I always thought that
Yeah,
was a neat idea.
yeah, I thought it was a cool idea too. The Vita was awesome. Just
Yeah.
wasn't
Just
supported
Sony
enough.
didn't agree apparently.
Yeah. What else is new with Sony's secondary consoles?
Yeah.
And then the third game I'm playing is one I'm playing by myself. Ghost of Tsushima. Ghost of
Oh,
Tsushima.
okay.
After seeing the Ghost of Viote
Yes.
trailer, I was like, I should go back and play that, especially the PS5 edition because I never played the PS5 edition.
Yeah. I should go and play it, period.
Uh, I've gone on record as saying, it's not my favorite PlayStation franchise. I enjoyed it, but
Yeah.
it wouldn't be at the top of my like even of the generation. I don't think I would put it in the top like in the top 25 games in my opinion. It's very
Yeah.
good, and on PS5, holy crap, the loading times are like nothing. They're like literally
Right, I
nothing.
bet.
Like the
I
game
bet.
starts up, and you're instantly in the main menu. You click continue, and within 1 second, you're in the game. Like
God, I love that.
fast travel, 1 second. Like
Yeah.
literally 1 second fast travel.
So good.
It's just unbelievable, especially with how
It's
good
almost
that
like
game
being
looks.
back on cartridges again.
Yeah, man. It's hard to describe how much like a difference that makes in open world games when you don't have
Yeah,
to wait
well,
for a
it's
loading
been
screen.
it's been so long since that near instantaneous loading has been a thing that we come back to it and we're like, oh my god. Like it's anytime I go back and I play like a mid '90s game or earlier, I'm like, oh my god, this is so fast. I love not having to wait 10 seconds for a save file to load.
It definitely has the fastest load times I've ever seen on a console that's disk based, I guess.
Yeah. Well, that NVMe hard drive doing its thing.
Yeah, that
man.
SSD, man. It's pulling, it's doing work.
Yeah, the reason I haven't played Ghost of Tsushima yet, or, a lot of stuff, is because it's stuff that I want to play, but my budget is limited, and there's enough stuff that I cannot miss, like Stalker
Yeah.
2, coming out that it's like, well, that's where the budget has to go.
It's
Like
definitely a game I would put on your wish list and wait for a deep, deep sale.
Yeah, yeah, and that's usually what happens if something goes on sale and it's like 50% off or more. I'm like, okay, well, I'll pull the trigger now,
Yeah, yeah, I'm
and
the
get it
same
now.
way.
But because that's what happened with Death Stranding is it wasn't absolutely critical for me to play, but I did really want to play it, and it went on sale, and I was like, okay, well, I'll grab it then.
Love that game. So
Yeah.
good.
I just wish it would work. One of these days, I'm gonna. The PC version is
Broken.
it's got technical issues for
bummer.
some people, and for some people it works fine. I am not one of those people. I've yet to reinstall it with my fresh Windows install. I'm kind of dreading it. I'd really like for it to work, but I'm afraid
Where
that if
did
it
you get
doesn't,
into it before it?
I got to the
Spoilers
furthest
for
I
Death
got.
Stranding if you haven't played it.
Yeah, a game from like
Yeah.
7 years ago or whatever.
I just don't want to get yelled at.
Yeah, I got past the first boss fight, and then the crashes or the freezes and crashes became so frequent that it was just impossible. Like the game would
Gotcha.
crash in like less than a minute. I wasn't able to make any progress.
Gotcha. Yeah, you had a long way to go.
Yeah,
Well, I hope you get to play it one day because it's really good.
yeah.
I tried playing the director's cut, but I just couldn't do it. It's one of those games where you play once and it's like an experience.
Yeah, If I reinstall it and it doesn't work, maybe I'll just wait to like get a used PS4 and copy of the game, something like that, like for less than $100 or something.
Yeah, you could do that. I would get
Maybe.
a Pro if you can, but
Well, the point is for it to be cheap.
yeah,
I don't really
that's
care.
true.
I just want to play the fucking game, man.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah, but I'm enjoying it. I forgot how do you describe the combat? Precise. It is so well tuned. It's like if you have no patience, that combat system is not for you. You have to be
Yeah.
like, because you're a samurai, so it's not you're not just going in there, flailing around.
Yeah,
It's not
no
a button
button
masher.
mashing.
Yeah,
Yeah, you
it's
gotta.
be patient, wait for your opportunity, parry when you need to, dodge when you need to, use the correct stances. That's
Yeah.
the first game I've ever played where the stances system actually works for me.
Oh yeah.
Because I've played so many games where the stance system is just like, okay, I could switch stances, but I'll just stick with the one I know.
Yeah.
You know.
Bushido Blade.
Yeah, but you kind of have to in this game because
Yeah.
just the way they designed it is really, really good. Like,
Yeah.
for shield enemies, this stance works best. For spear enemies, this stance works best, so on and so forth. So,
Yeah. I remember
yeah.
Bushido Blade had a stance where you would hold the sword over your head. And the thing about Bushido Blade is that you automatically parry attacks if they hit the sword.
Mhm.
So let's raise the sword above the head and expose our midsection. It was like asking to be killed.
Yeah. Yeah.
I still love Bushido Blade, but
Yeah, still great. Just a classic.
yeah, I never used that stance.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. Love Ghost. It really. I'm trying to temper my expectations just because, for me, Ghost of Tsushima was a game where I'm like, okay, you did a lot of things right in this game, and I can see the bones and the foundation of something way better. So I'm hoping that Ghost of Yotai, Yotai.
You're just gonna do that now.
I'm gonna screw it up every time.
Yeah.
I'm hoping that Ghost of Yotai really capitalizes on what it could be because it's got so much more potential than that first game. And I'm not shitting on the first game. Just to be clear, that first game is like a solid 8 out of 10 for me. It's a great game, but there are just better PlayStation franchises.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of games where it's good, but you can see the potential for something greater in there.
Yeah,
And things go the way they go, right?
Yep.
Given unlimited time and money, I'm sure it could have achieved, what you can see. But there's obviously time and budgetary constraints to these things. So.
And honestly, there's nothing wrong with the game.
Oh yeah.
You know what I
yeah.
mean?
It's
It
not
just
that
doesn't like.
It's not that it's bad. It's just that it could be better.
It could be
you
better.
can see the room for improvement.
Yeah. Like the fact that every time you talk to someone, it cuts to widescreen cinematic, and they're just standing there.
Oh yeah.
It's like I
That's,
just played The Last of Us, where everything is like real time,
Yeah.
Or they play a cinematic that blends perfectly from gameplay right into the cinematic.
They do that in
You
Knights of the Old Republic, where they do the black bars thing.
Yeah, I'm like, I hate it. I was like,
At least then they use the black bars on the bottom for like the subtitles
the
and
subtitles
for
and
what
the text choices and stuff like
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
Do they
For
do
this
that
game, it
in-
was just kind of like. The only thing I
No.
can think of is that they really meant for people to play with the Japanese audio and the black and white and all that stuff. Maybe that's why they
Yeah,
went with
well,
that
I mean,
option.
they were really going for like a classic samurai movie look. So the widescreen and the black and white mode.
The game's just
Apparently-
so gorgeous in color. I was just like, no way am I doing that in black and white. I can't.
I mean, I'd be kind of interested to do it in black and white because apparently the black and white mode they actually tuned very specifically. They don't.
Oh
they
yeah,
don't just,
I've tested it.
yeah, they don't just convert it to grayscale. There's like a
No.
whole shader process for
Yeah.
for making it look like film stock, like black
Yeah,
and
it
white
looks
film
very
stock.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks very good, but I just the game's so beautiful in color. I just couldn't do it.
Yeah. No, it's
The
perfectly valid.
effects of the leaves of falling from the trees and hitting the ground, and then when you walk through them, they like realistically
Yeah.
poof out of the way and stuff like. Oh
Yeah,
my god,
yeah.
game is beautiful.
I just
Yeah.
watched a YouTube video Actually, I watched a few, but I just watched a YouTube video that was talking about the fish in Mario games, and it was kind of satirical, but it's also sort of serious, like judging the detail of the little, just what they called incidental fish. You know what? Let me pull that up real quick so I can give proper credit. I think I know the channel off the top of my head, but I just want to make sure that I get it right.
Yeah.
I'd hate to give the wrong name. Yeah, Any Austin is the YouTube channel. The evolution of Mario's incidental fish. And it like, this is way more detail than anyone has ever paid
To the fish.
to the fish, but it's like, actually he actually goes into like the aquarium in Mario 64. You know, the castle has some
Yeah.
like walled aquariums, and
Yeah, in the
and
clock room.
points out how the fish swimming back and forth isn't just a set pattern. They don't go the exact same distance every time. They mix it up a little bit, and they've even got like aerators to make sure that that there's oxygen in the water. You know, the little bubbling things
Yep.
in an aquarium. Yeah, they even had that detail, and talks about how the different fish in the different game, like how many varieties of fish there are, and how detailed they are, and whether or not they swim away from Mario when you approach. How long is that video? Let me see. It's like 9.5 minutes, so it's not insanely long.
No,
but
I mean,
it's
that's a lot of
still-
time devoted to a fish tank.
Yeah.
Yeah. A fake
But,
fish tank at that.
Yeah, I thought I just stumbled onto this the other night, and there's a video from like just recently about how Morrowind technically doesn't have rivers. It has long stretches of water, but technically they're not rivers; they're sloughs, which is a different thing. You know, it's that kind of video. I just thought it was
I watched
fun.
a video about something recently that was about that length, and I was highly enthralled by it, even though it was
Yeah.
something small like that. I can't remember what it was.
Yeah,
If it comes,
this dude has a whole bunch of videos. Like, he like figures out what the unemployment rate for towns in open world games are. like he's got like Vermilion City in Pokemon has a 17.4% unemployment rate, which I guess is based on how many people have an identifiable job and how many people are just loaf around. I haven't watched any of them, but I
That's
assume
funny.
it's some metric like that.
That's funny.
You know, just nitpicking the tiny little things.
Gotta love YouTube.
Yeah, yeah. There's a lot of crap out there, but there's also some really good stuff. One more
yeah.
video that I did watch is talking about the little things in Burnout Paradise that you're
Great
not,
game.
which, you know, anybody who's played a racing game knows that it looks best when you're going really fast, because if you stop, you start to notice that like the people in the stands are just cardboard cutouts. And that's one of the things he points out. But he also points out how in Burnout Paradise, like, here's where they went to the trouble of making sure that the newspapers in the little newspaper like dispensers, you know, the little things you put the coin in and you get basically the newspaper vending machines. They actually went to the trouble of making sure that there was a headline on the paper displayed in the window, even though during normal play you're never going to see it,
that.
because it's first of all, you're going too fast, and secondly, it's facing the sidewalk, because nobody driving by is going to purchase it, so they face them inward to the sidewalk. But if for some reason you maneuver your car around there and inspect it,
Gotta have
you will
something
see,
to read.
You will see it. There is a headline and a photo on the front page of the paper.
That's funny.
Yeah,
Yeah.
love it.
Criterion was really good
God, they were so good.
until EA
Yeah,
pooped
Did
them
their
into the
thing.
Need for Speed franchise.
yeah.
See anything else about Ghost of Tsushima? No, I don't think so. One game I did forget to talk about last week was I finished Under the Waves.
Oh, okay.
That was the Quantic Dream published, not developed, but published indie game where you're a dude underwater in the remember that whole thing.
Yeah.
I beat it. Fuck it. I mean, I thought Death Stranding's ending was long-winded. Under the Waves gives it a run for its money, man. It went on way too long. I was like, okay, guys.
I hate that shit.
It was way too heavy-handed.
Yeah.
But the game itself was really cool. But it wasn't perfect by any means. I'd probably give it like 6 or 7. I'm debating which one. I think
That's
it's a
higher than I'd
6.
give any Quantic Dream developed game, so.
Oh, I would give other Quantic Dream games probably higher than that, but
Well,
um,
maybe Detroit. At least the
yeah,
Connor chapter.
yeah, I'd give Detroit an 8. It was great.
That's
It had
I,
problems, but it's not.
that's way too generous in my opinion.
No,
But
I enjoyed it. Yeah, there was really stupid problems with it, but it was fun.
yeah.
It was fun. But yeah, Under the Waves was above average. You know, has a lot of problems, but it was worth playing. But man, that ending. Whew.
Hmm.
Strangely though, so the game takes place 99% underwater.
Hmm.
And there is 1 or 2 times where you can see above the water, and it probably has the best looking surface water I've ever seen in a video game.
Really?
And I'm like, how the hell is this in this game where it's not even it's
That,
not even
that's a
something you see?
that's a pretty high compliment because like
Yeah.
Sea of Thieves has really good looking
Yeah, I'd
water.
say it's on par with that.
Yeah, Grand Theft Auto 5 has really good looking water.
I haven't seen that in a long time. I'd have to check that out.
It looks fantastic.
But yeah, look up a screenshot of if you can find one for Under the Waves
I'll do
surface
that later
water.
because it could take me a while.
Yeah, I think it's in the main menu and then it's in the final scene, and that's it. And it's like, holy shit, that looks great.
Yeah,
Yeah, and if you swim to the surface, you can see it as well. But there's no reason to.
yeah.
All right, there is no letter this week, so we are going to skip right into the news.
And I have something to say about the news. It's not really new news, it's old, in fact. 30 years old, in fact. Today is the 30th anniversary of the US release of Final Fantasy VI.
That's right. Yeah, I did
Hooray!
see that. Hmm.
Hooray!
Congratulations to Final Fantasy VI, one of the best
Mhm.
RPGs of all time.
This year is a relevant anniversary for a lot of games
It
because
really is.
Half-Life 2 is 20 this year.
Wow,
This is so crazy.
that's gross.
Yeah, it is. It's obscene.
And how far after that did episode 1 and 2 come out?
Um, I don't fucking remember. It hardly matters now.
Couldn't have been more than 3 years.
3 years for episode 1. Yeah, probably within that.
Man, so it's been like 15 plus years, and we still haven't got hit halfway through episode 3 or anything
Yeah,
like that.
well, I mean, there was Half-Life
Gabe,
Alex.
Gabe, I'm looking at you. The fuck is wrong with you, bro?
Yeah.
What is wrong with
He's
you?
he's George R. R. Martining it.
Yeah, tell me about it. All right. Well, congratulations to Final Fantasy VI. You are middle aged.
Well, getting there.
Getting there.
Yeah.
I feel middle aged.
Well, we are getting there, and we're much closer.
It's true. I'm 7 years older than Final Fantasy VI.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. Starting with the news on my end here, let's start with the sad stuff that we always want to get out of the way quickly. Doc Harris, Dragon Ball Z's legendary English narrator, has passed away at the age of 76. I
Yes.
think we've talked about this before, but I was a Dragon Ball fan, not
Yeah.
a Dragon Ball Z fan.
Yeah.
But I recognize that you love Dragon Ball Z,
Mm-hmm.
and so does quite a few of our listeners, one in particular. So that sucks.
You know what else? You know what else he was the narrator of, and this is something that you will be familiar with. Captain N, the Game Master.
Oh wow, God,
Yep, that
I
was
think I've
him
seen
as
that
well.
show one time,
Really?
like each
Dude,
episode, one time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that was the same guy. He had a narrator voice, so he was a narrator for a lot of things. He did like a lot of radio commercial work and stuff.
Mhm. He apparently also did My Little Pony. Someone else passed away, but I couldn't find the release about it. But I don't know their name, unfortunately. Maybe you can help me with it. But they were the voice actor for the teddy bear from Danganronpa.
Oh,
And Doraemon or something like that.
oh yeah. Yes, Japanese voice actor. Um, yeah, let me bring that up real quick.
Yeah, I
I don't
couldn't
know their
find it
name.
earlier.
I don't know their name off the
Oh,
top of my head.
Nobuyu Oyama.
Yeah, there you go.
Doraemon and Danganronpa's Monokuma was the
Yeah, Doraemon
switchers.
is a really really long running Japanese franchise. It's about like I don't even know how to describe it. It's like a blue robot cat from the future makes friends with a whatever. It's a whole thing.
It's a whole thing.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, she was 90. You know.
Yes, good life, hopefully. Long life at the very least. And yeah, I played Danganronpa 1 and a little bit of 2, so I know Monokuma very well, although I did not know Monokuma was voiced by a female. So that's interesting.
Yeah,
Seems like a
I've
lot
never
of the
played.
like Japanese characters that are male are done by
Well,
females.
it's not uncommon in English either. I mean, Bart Simpson is voiced by
Oh,
a
that's
woman.
true. That's a good point.
It's a
That's
lot easier to get an adult woman to sound like a prepubescent boy than it is to make an adult man sound like a prepubescent boy.
that is true. That's
I mean,
true.
like, listen to our voices. Nobody's ever going to mistake us for somebody under the age of 16.
Maybe they'll mistake me for a lesbian. You never know.
Okay, I mean, I know a few lesbians, and none of them, none of them sound like that.
I'm technically a lesbian.
Well, yeah, okay,
I like women.
yeah,
I like the ladies.
that is technically a thing.
All the lesbians out there right now want to kill me.
Yeah, they're very upset with you. Ladies, he's cool, I promise.
I love lesbians.
Okay, we need to get off this subject, or we're gonna get like age restricted.
We already are. It's okay. All right, let's get into the more industry-specific news here. The biggest story of the week is that 343 Industries has rebranded to Halo Studios.
Mm-hmm.
Great original name.
Yeah.
But the bigger news is that they are moving away from the Slipstream engine to Unreal Engine 5.
Yep. I wonder why that is. Could it have anything to do with constantly hiring and releasing staff during the development of Halo Infinite, leading to nobody knowing how the damn thing works at this point? Because everybody who built it was laid off?
Well, not only that, but that thing isn't the Slipstream engine something they've been working with since like Halo 1?
So I believe it's an evolution of the Halo 1 engine,
Yeah.
which is to say, I mean,
It's old.
the Unreal Engine is an evolution of the original Unreal Engine, but it's gone through so many changes that it's
It's not
barely
anything near it. Yeah.
yeah. It's kept up with the times more than it hasn't. And apparently the engine used for Halo is still using a lot of like legacy code, and you know, people get comfortable with stuff because it's hard, especially now, to build a game and also build your development tools when game development takes years and years and years now. So it once you learn how an engine works, you kind of want to stick with it as long as you can.
Yeah.
But I mean, that can cause you to fall behind in terms of its capabilities. That can make adapting to new stuff really difficult when you're trying to retrofit new rendering features into something that, you know, has a code base built for the original Xbox and like fucking DirectX 6 or 7 or whatever the original Xbox was using.
Yeah.
It becomes kind of a patchwork beast, you know, a chimera of sorts.
Yeah. Oh, it was the Slipspace engine, not the Slipstream engine. I don't know why.
Oh yes, because slipspace is their word for light speed, faster than light travel. But yeah, moving to Unreal Engine 5, which, I mean, I'd heard them talking about. There was even talk at one point of maybe even rebuilding Halo Infinite with Unreal, which I thought, no way. There's no way they're going to do that.
No.
I don't know where that came from, but...
Well, early 2023, reports were coming out that they were basically ready to reboot Halo,
Hmm.
because there was a big shakeup at 343 Industries.
Yeah.
That's when they like lost all those features that were going to come out for Halo Infinite, and a bunch of people left and all that kind of stuff. So
Yeah. Yeah.
um, I have a couple of opinions on this. So number one, or a couple angles, I guess, to come at this with. Number
Sure.
one, I cannot believe that they're still giving 343 Industries a chance at this franchise. They have essentially failed 3 times in a row.
I mean, I don't know if I'd say failed, but
They have not lived up to Halo
I don't
by any
think they
stretch
have
of the imagination.
I don't think they have the same vision that Bungie did for the
Yeah,
series.
it hasn't worked out clearly.
Hmm.
The multiplayer in Halo 4 was apparently atrocious. The
I wouldn't say it was atrocious. I enjoyed it. I
the
played it for a little
campaign of
while.
Halo 5 was awful.
I have not played Halo 5 at all.
You
So,
don't even bother. And I don't know, unless you want to play the multiplayer, but Halo Infinite's multiplayer is better. And then Halo Infinite, while good, is missing a shitload of features that it should have had. Like
yeah, also it
split
kind of
screen.
suffers from being all the same terrain. That was my big complaint
Yeah,
about
yeah.
Infinite because it's set on
You played
different.
Halo Infinite?
Oh yeah, I've played Halo Infinite.
Yeah.
I've the set on different pieces of a broken Halo,
Yeah, I've played
and
and beat it.
yeah, and the
it's very
ring.
good, but I agree the environmental variety is
Yeah, like
bad.
the thing is, the rings have a ton of different environments on them.
Yeah.
Like the only reason you know you're not just on the surface of a planet is because you can see the ring looping around in the skybox.
I'm
So
90% sure that their intention for that game was it to be a live service game,
probably
because it
it
just
seemed
made
like
no sense otherwise to me.
it was such a missed opportunity not having every fragment that you play on be a different environment. Like you've got the perfect excuse
Yeah.
to segment them in video game form, built right into your story, and you
Yeah.
just make it all the same like mountainous terrain. Come on.
Yeah. And it's the
I
only
mean, I
Halo
know.
game in the series that isn't co-op split screen,
Yeah, yeah,
which is embarrassing.
yeah.
And
Grappling hook
they
is fun
promised it
though.
was coming, and then they were like, eh.
Love that grappling hook.
Yeah, it's fantastic. Yeah, I think that series does need to be rebooted, which brings me to my second point.
Oh, okay.
I think another reason for them moving to a new engine is because they're either going to reboot it, they're just going to start from scratch and say, you know what, this isn't working. It's time to start from scratch. We're gonna build this the way we see Halo instead
Hmm.
of trying to replicate what people expect from Halo. I think they're going to start from scratch.
Okay.
Or they are going to go back to Halo 1 and remake it and start from there.
I would not like that. I hope they don't do that.
And by a remake, I don't mean um like just take the same game and just like
Yeah, not Halo Anniversary Edition.
no, like take all the stuff they learned from Halo Infinite, put it into Halo 1, put a spin on it, elevate it. But I don't think that's the right move either. I do think rebooting it is the right move at this point. I don't know if they even finished the story. I don't think and I'm sure the hardcore Halo community cares, but I certainly couldn't give a shit about the story of Halo. Like
Yeah,
it ended at 3 for me.
the thing about Halo Infinite is they apparently it carries on story wise as much from Halo Wars 2 as it does from Halo 5.
Mm,
I haven't fucking played Halo Wars 2.
no.
I have I went into that game thinking, okay, well I missed Halo 5, so I'm not going to know everything that's going on here. But then there was a whole bunch of shit where it's like, what is going on
What is
here?
happening? Yeah.
And I looked into it. It was like, oh, it's as much a story sequel to Halo Wars 2 as it is to Halo 5. I was like, oh fuck. So
And I had a
now
very similar issue with 5.
it's a
Where I was
follow up
like,
to
I don't know
two
what's happening.
games that I didn't play.
Yeah, it's pretty sad. I mean, to be frank, the storytelling in the Halo games, aside from the first one, have been pretty rough. They're not great. Like especially the third one. But by the end of the third one, I was like, wait, what the fuck is happening? Like none of it made any sense. I remember that at one point you were like, you and several others were like in front of the grave mind and like floating, and he was talking. I don't fucking know.
Oh,
I
that
just
are
remember
you? Are you sure you're
being
not
very
thinking?
confused.
Are you sure you're not thinking about Halo 2? Because that happens in
That may
Halo
have been
2,
from two.
where the Arbiter and the Master Chief meet for face to face for the first time.
I mean, I remember that in Halo 3.
That's in Halo 2, where the two of them meet.
See, this is so. Here's the thing, right? If you were to tell me, or if you were to ask me, name the story beats from Uncharted 1, 2, 3, 4, and Lost Legacy, I could tell you all about them.
Yeah,
And I've played them less than I've played Halo.
yeah.
That's to me that means that the Halo storytelling is just not succinct. It's not good.
You want to know something crazy?
Hmm.
The voice actor who plays the Gravemind was also Beautiful Joe.
Yeah, that's cool. That's really cool. That was a good
That's
game
my
too.
favorite example of like vocal range.
Yeah, that's a good range.
It's
for sure.
crazy.
Go from beautiful
G.
Joe, a
Bradley
very
Baker.
anime character, to
Yeah,
freaking like demon alien.
yeah, yeah.
It's pretty cool.
D. Bradley Baker, man, he's a talent. I think he's also the voice of the what's that big fucking flying thing from Avatar: The Last Airbender? I think he does all the animal noises for it as well.
Yeah, I'm not the right one to ask about anime. That's for sure. That is for sure, sir. You should have an anime podcast with someone.
I haven't watched nearly enough recent anime.
Oh, that's fair. A classic anime podcast.
Yeah.
That would be cool.
It'd just be me talking about Slayers for
Do a
90
random
minutes.
encounters with someone. That'd be cool. I have a third viewpoint as well about the move to Unreal Engine 5, and that
Oh,
is...
maybe that, I'll save that for after we're done. That's podcast production talk.
Okay, fair.
You just given me an idea though.
Okay, yeah, write it down. Make sure you don't forget.
Yeah.
Now, this has been going around, so this is not my idea. Just want to be specific, but it's been going around by several other podcasts and Twitter accounts and all that kind of shit.
Mm-hmm.
But moving to Unreal Engine 5 also makes it easier to port it to PlayStation.
Yeah. I don't know if they'll do that.
I do. I guarantee it. Guarantee it. I just... Xbox is at a point where, I mean, they've already self-admitted that they've lost the console war. It's done. They're never going to be number one again. They've burnt their trust with their community. The community left. They went to PlayStation, and they've done nothing good enough for them to come back. It's speaking loudly in the sales of their console. It's just not happening. People want to play some of their games, but they're not willing to, shell out the amount of money that it costs for an Xbox Series in order to do so. And in fact, the Xbox Series S is actually outselling the X. And that tells you all you need to know, is that people will buy an Xbox, but they're going to buy the cheap one because there's probably like 2 games that they want to play on it, and they don't really care.
Yeah.
It's over. They've released 4 games that were exclusive that are now on PlayStation. They have a 5th one coming in Indiana Jones. The floodgates are opening. I firmly believe that within the next 5 years, you are going to see way more Xbox games coming to PlayStation. I think Xbox is going to turn into a alternative console platform, much in the way that, with PCs you have Steam Deck and the Rogue Ally and what else is there on PCs? Those are the 2 big ones.
Yeah, there's a few.
There's a few. But I think that's what's going to happen, and I firmly believe they're going to go into the handheld market too. There's going to be an Xbox deck, whatever you want to call that thing, and they're going to have a console because they still have a lot of money coming in from Game Pass.
Mm-hmm.
But there's also the backside of that, of which how much money are they losing because people aren't buying the games, they're getting them on Game Pass. So. Yeah. That's why I think, we're gonna reach a point in the next 5 years where it's just they're all day and date with PlayStation. Maybe they're all like 3 month exclusivity or 6 month exclusivity on Xbox and PC, and then they'll come to PlayStation. Um, but I think it's inevitable at this point that we get it, and I would even bet further that sooner rather than later we're probably going to see the Halo collection, Master Chief collection on PlayStation.
Well, maybe. I mean, PlayStation is publishing games on the Switch, so there's not really no reason why it couldn't happen.
No.
And I suppose, after Sega making games for Nintendo consoles, that there's really no rules, and that was that was over 20 years ago. So
Yeah, where the borders between consoles are breaking down. Especially now that PlayStation has basically seceded itself as like the hardcore gaming console, and then you have Nintendo that's always going to be Nintendo, where people go to play Nintendo games. And Xbox just doesn't have a foothold anymore. They're just irrelevant basically, except for the software that they own. And that's their strength is the IP
yeah,
and the studios that they own. So why not leverage that and be like, we're going to put all our money into software and
Yeah.
get it as many places as we possibly can and make as much money as we possibly can. I think that
well,
just
I mean,
makes
the
more
company
sense.
is called Microsoft, so
Yeah, yeah, and I would even go as far as to say within the next 10 years, Xbox will be gone. Like the brand will be gone. It'll be changed to something else. It'll be like Microsoft Gaming or something like that.
I don't know about that. I think the Xbox brand is like as a recognizable thing is still pretty well known.
It's well
But, I
known,
mean,
but I
you
don't
could
think
be
it
right.
holds the respect that it once did.
Well,
We'll
it's
see.
kind of it would be kind of meaningless if there wasn't a box to go along with it, you know.
That's what I mean, though, is that like within the next 10 years, there won't be
Yeah.
an Xbox hardware. Like they'll just be
Oh,
like,
okay.
no, there's no point in us making a console hardware in the next 10 years.
Yeah.
Like I said, the next 5 years, yeah, they're gonna do one more generation. Will they do one more after that to match the PS8 or PS7? I don't think so. I think the next one's the last one for Xbox, and they might continue to do the handheld, like the Xbox deck, if that takes off and people are interested in like a Windows-based deck.
Yeah.
But we'll see.
I think
that's far ahead.
I think they shouldn't have like quit with the Xbox One being like a media center game console thing. I think there was too much backlash against that.
There was huge backlash against that.
Yeah. Because like people, it hasn't actually changed. Like they were talking so much about movies and TV shows and stuff, but like everybody uses their Xbox and their PlayStation to watch Netflix anyway. So it hasn't actually really changed.
No, it hasn't. It's just their public focus on it was too
Yeah.
much. And here's the thing that I find really strange is that yes, people use PlayStations and Xboxes for all of these streaming services and all that stuff, right? Why? I mean, I guess I just answered my own question in my head. I was gonna say, why didn't they bring out an Xbox streaming box that's not a game console? You know what I mean? Don't have it have this like graphical, like it's not a gaming machine. It's literally a streaming machine. So it would like replace everyone's DVD player and Xbox or DVD player and like VHS player and all that crap. And it's just
Yeah.
it's there and it's much cheaper. You know what I mean? Like they could sell that thing for like $100.
Yeah,
There you go.
It's basically Xbox TV instead of Apple TV.
Yeah, they could have done that and got ahead of the game, and they didn't see the right path. They took the wrong path.
I mean, they might very well do that.
And
Make it ARM based and have it run Android and make
I
all
don't think
their
they will
game.
at this point. I think that market is so saturated with
Yeah.
options between, like you said, Apple TV, Roku,
Yeah.
Fire Stick, which sucks, by the way. Don't buy a Fire Stick; it's garbage.
Yeah.
Android boxes just in general.
Yeah, I'll tell you what I think was
Chromecast.
what it was a missed opportunity there was Ouya. Like
Oh God, oh yeah.
they focus too much on trying to be a game console. They should have split their focus between
Android
being
console
like
and a game
yeah,
console.
yeah, like a TV box because it was like 99 US bucks, you
Super
know.
cheap, yeah.
Yeah, for getting what is basically a Chromecast and a game system, that's not bad.
Yeah.
But I guess Apple TV is that now.
Yeah, it's replaced. Well, it's Apple TV and all those things I just mentioned are all kind of
Yeah, Apple TV has actually succeeded at being a game system and a, like a streaming
a
box.
media service. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, very interesting development. Obviously, Halo Studios is probably 80% new people at this point.
Yeah.
So I'll be interested to see what they do. But I'm just kind of baffled that they continue to get the reins to that franchise. It's like Halo Infinite was, by all accounts, like a pretty big disaster. Like it did not live up to expectations by any stretch.
Yeah.
Not saying it's a bad game,
No.
but when you call something Halo Infinite
Yeah.
and you have all these advertising,
it sets a certain tone.
yeah, it's like we all thought this was going to be the end all be all Halo, and it was going to be like Destiny, and it was going to be constantly updated with new maps and new story, and
Yeah.
I don't even think I got one new deal. It didn't even get DLC. They supported the multiplayer and canceled the split screen co-op, and I think they added online co-op at some point.
Yeah, I do believe there is online co-op now. I don't know if it's crossplay though.
Probably not.
I did look up, but apparently Master Chief Collection does have some crossplay stuff.
With Xbox, yeah.
Yeah.
Xbox and PC. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yep. Alright, let's move on. This one's super weird, and I really want to hear what you think this is going to be. Nintendo has sent out invitations for a Nintendo Switch Online playtest. Roughly 10,000 people have been invited to it. But they won't say what it is. And they're telling everybody...
not to talk about it.
Yeah, everyone's signing an NDA
Good
saying they
luck
won't
with
talk
that.
about it. Even though it's, the second they get told what it is, we're all going to know.
Yeah, there's no way that you can have an open, like, player... Well, not open, but, like, open to the general public.
It's pretty open, yeah.
Yeah, like, you're not going to be able to... Like, you would need to vet people.
Yeah.
And there's no way they're going to vet 10,000 people.
No,
like, we're going to know.
It's going to slip in instantaneously.
Yeah, and there's, like, no way to track down who spills the beans, right?
No.
Because, like,
really
somebody will
isn't.
just make, like, a burner Twitter account and stuff, and it'll be out. It'll be out in 2 seconds.
Or they'll just call, like, IGN and say, I'm an anonymous source, I got it in the playtest, here's what it is.
Yeah.
Here's what we do know. Playtest users must have a Nintendo Switch Online and expansion pack membership as of October 9th. They must be at least 18 years of age or older, and they have to be registered in Japan, the US, the UK, France, Germany, Italy, or Spain. The test download is 2.2 gigabytes. And crucially, Nintendo appears to want players to play docked with a strong internet connection. That's all we know. And we will know what it is as of the 20th of October.
Yeah, we'll know way before that.
Well, no, that's when the playtest begins.
Oh, that's when the playtest begins. Okay, so we will in fact know by the 20th of
October 20th. Yeah, I don't think they'll tell anybody until that date. I would guess.
Yeah.
The download will go live, and everyone will be like, "Oh, it's blank."
Yeah.
So, what is
I
it?
think it would be very foolish of them to like preload that because the data
they won't
miners
do
will.
that.
Yeah.
It'll be
They
available
know.
like at midnight on that
Yeah.
day. Something like that.
Yeah, I don't know. That's not a very big download, which kind of makes me wonder if it might be like a virtual console thing.
Yeah, the first thing that came to my mind was GameCube.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking. But I mean, then
Especially
you say
since it includes or it requires the expansion pack.
yeah,
Because they're not going
And
to offer the GameCube library to just your regular Nintendo
right,
Online.
because they don't offer the N64 library or the GBA library to people who just have a standard
Or Genesis.
NSO. Yeah. Oh yeah, that's right. There's Genesis as well. You see,
Yep.
I don't have an expansion pass. I just have the
Neither do I.
regular one.
Yeah, I just have the regular online only. Which I
Because
don't
the
even know
regular
why I have the online, honestly. But oh, actually, I do know. It's ridiculously cheap.
it's like $2 a month, and you basically get unlimited NES and Super Nintendo and Game Boy games, whatever's
Yeah.
there.
It's like
Which
$25 a year or something like that. It's
yeah,
crazy cheap.
yeah, it's not an amazing selection of games, but it's a
A lot of the good
ridiculous.
stuff's on there now. So,
There's a lot of good stuff on there that is there, and it's a ridiculously low price. So you'd
yep.
be kind of stupid not to.
Yep. Just take it and check it once in a while, and it's there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The only
Besides that,
the only thing that makes me wonder is they want people to have a strong internet connection, which is odd because like the only GameCube game I know of off the top of my head that has online play is PSO 1 and 2.
well, some of the theories regarding that is that it could be Nintendo testing a cloud service.
Yeah, but they already have one.
It's not theirs though. The cloud service that they're using for specific games are for those specific companies, like those specific
Oh.
publishers. It's not like Nintendo Cloud streaming or anything like that.
Oh.
It's specifically for those games.
Okay,
Um,
that is probably cloud streaming.
So yeah, it could be a Nintendo streaming service.
'Cause
But again, why does that even matter today? Like I don't.
Yeah, I thought that they operated the servers for the Kingdom Hearts 3 and the Resident Evil, what was it, Resident Evil 7 that they have there
Yeah,
on
Resident Evil
Switch.
7.
And there's only a few of them.
No cloud.
Yeah, Resident Evil 7, Kingdom Hearts 3, and I think there's one or two others.
Aliens Fire Team Elite. Yeah, you said Assassin's Creed Odyssey.
they
Phantasy
have-
Star Online 2.
Oh yeah, that's
Control.
right. Yeah. Oh yeah, Control. I forgot about that.
Hitman 3.
Oh, they got more than I thought.
A Plague Tale 1, I think. That's one. Innocence. I think that's one. Plague Tale Innocence. Yeah, I think that's one. Guardians of the Galaxy. Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2. And 2.8 and 3. Or sorry, Kingdom Hearts 1.5, 2.5, 2.8, and 3.
I fucking hate
Fuck
that.
you, Kingdom Hearts. Seriously.
I hate that so much.
I fucking hate Kingdom Hearts.
My
The
little
actual games,
my little sister would be able to explain it because she
So
loves those
stupid.
games. But
Hate
oh
that
god,
shit.
yeah. I only played Chain of Memories on the Game Boy Advance. And I was like, okay,
I played the
this is
first one
fine.
and the second one, and then I was like, this is fucking weird.
Yeah,
As soon as I heard the name Birth by Sleep,
yeah. I was like, okay,
I checked out.
This is like okay, this is getting weird. Or 358 by
oh,
2 days.
fuck off with that. I cannot believe that's a game. Oh my god. What else?
Yeah,
I got?
so I would say either they're testing their own like cloud streaming service, which I have zero interest in.
Yeah,
I do
me
not
neither.
give a fuck. I do not want to play games that are on somebody else's computer over the internet. It is laggy, it looks like shit, and you don't have any control over the game. Like you just pull the plug and you're gone.
So I will say, just throwing it out there, that I have used PlayStation's cloud service. What do they call it? PlayStation Now?
Yeah, I think it's
Well, they
PlayStation
used to.
now.
Now it's just a part of their service, PlayStation Plus
Yeah.
service. And it is actually good. I played MotorStorm Apocalypse on it, which is a fast-paced racing game,
Okay.
and it worked pretty well. There was no like lag or anything like that. There was definitely like pixelation at times.
Yeah.
But for the most part, I'd say it was like impressive. It's definitely
Yeah, but
gotten better.
It's never going to be better or as good as just having a local copy, though. So to
No.
me, it's pointless.
Yeah, the entire idea of why people want this is what escapes me. I'm like, so you don't need a hard drive. So what? Get a hard drive.
With the Switch, here's the thing. With the Switch, I could kind of see it because number one, Switch isn't powerful enough to run those games. Like it can't run Resident Evil 7. There's no way. You'd have to remake the game from the ground up to run on the Switch, and it would look way worse. But you can stream it, and you can make
Oh,
it look
you
as
just
good
gave
as you
me an
want.
idea that might be why they want to do that.
But the other, yeah, no, I know what you're thinking. What if the Switch 2 is all streaming?
No,
No,
no, no,
there's
no.
no
I was gonna say what if it allowed people to play Switch 2
Switch 2
games?
games. No.
No, there's no way they would do that.
There's
That would
no
be like
way.
cutting their legs from out underneath them.
Yeah, there's no way. There's absolutely no. They
Yeah,
would
like
never
I
do
don't know
that.
if that's all it is the cloud streaming service. I couldn't give two shits.
Yeah, but at least the thing with the Switch is then you could play your games anywhere, but it would have to be anywhere that has a strong enough Wi-Fi connection to get that real time 60 FPS video feed, which
Yeah.
you're probably not going to get in like a McDonald's or something. So, eh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't really see a point in it. I hope it's GameCube games because that would actually be cool and I would like that. It kind of sounds to me like it might be a cloud streaming thing, which I don't give a shit about. Or it could be something else completely different. I have no
It could be
fucking
something
idea.
else completely. There are two other theories going around.
Oh, yeah?
One of them I
What are
don't
they?
believe, and then the other one maybe.
Alright,
One of
hit
them
me.
is a Miiverse return or something
No.
related to Miiverse,
I don't think so.
which I don't. That's the one I don't think so either. Seems unlikely. Then the other one is that it has something to do with Switch 2,
Yeah, but what could
But-
it possibly be?
but I'm not sure what that would be. So
You're not
we'll
going
have
to
wait
do.
and see.
You're
Like
not going
9
to
days
do an
away from this
open
recording.
beta test for your next console on your old console with the public. That doesn't make any sense.
The only thing I can
I
think
think
of is
people-
maybe it's like some sort of stress test for something they're doing on Switch 2.
I mean,
I don't know.
maybe, but like when
My
when
money
has
is on the GameCube
yeah.
emulation.
When has Nintendo ever like planned out something in advance for online services?
Yeah, and that's why I think it's that's what makes me think it's the GameCube emulation because of the backlash they got with the N64
Yeah.
emulation. So I think maybe they're like, let's bring in people to play what we have for the emulation for the GameCube,
Before
make sure
we
it's
launch
not
it.
shit to them,
Yeah.
and then if everyone likes it, then we'll throw it out there. But who knows?
If that's the case, it'll probably do well because people love the GameCube. They didn't love it back then, but they love it now.
Mm-hmm.
And apparently, it's easier to emulate because it's less. I mean, it's more powerful than the N64, but from a technical perspective, it's apparently less complex.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah.
it's probably easier to make an emulator for it.
Yeah, for sure. All right, so yeah, we'll find out in 9 days, which is the anniversary date of the Switch reveal.
That sounds like they're just fucking with people.
It could be. It's a Sunday, which is weird. Which means we will not be able to talk about it until the 25th.
Yeah.
So
Or we
not
could just
next
record
episode, but the one after that. But
We
we
just
might know.
record
Who knows? We might know what it is by the time the next show.
Or we
comes
could just
around.
record the podcast late.
Yeah, we could record it on the Monday or the Sunday. It's possible.
Yeah.
We'll see. All right, next up. Nothing really to say here other than Alien Isolation 2 has been confirmed in development.
Yeah. I'm honestly shocked it took this long.
Yeah, 10 years.
Yeah, I can't believe it's been 10 years, but yeah, thinking about it, it absolutely has. It
Bonkers.
feels like it's been more like 7 years, but yeah.
It feels like it's been 5 for me because it's come out for free on like PlayStation Plus and Game Pass and
Yeah.
all this other stuff. So I'm like, oh my god, I
Yeah.
get to play this new game.
Colonial
But it's not.
Marines feels like it was 10 years ago, but
Oh my
no,
God.
that's like 13 years ago now.
What a travesty that thing was.
Yeah.
So yeah, look forward to Alien Isolation 2, which doesn't have a release date or anything. They're just confirming that it's in development.
Yeah.
My guess is probably late this gen or early next gen. Would be my guess.
I don't know if it'll be, well, confirming that it's in development means that it's already in development.
Yeah,
So it's probably been going on for a little while. It's probably been in development for like a year or so.
yeah. But
I
with
don't
how
think they
games take as long as they take,
Yeah.
who knows? Who knows? All right, next up. I don't know if I don't really have much to say about this particular one, but maybe you do. Um, Ahead of a new Californian law going into effect in
Oh, I know
2025,
this one.
Steam now includes an upfront warning to customers that they are buying a license to a game and not the game itself.
Yes, and that's not just for Steam. That's for a lot of stuff. I believe they
Yeah, a
do
lot
it on
of
PSN now.
yeah,
And that's great because that is just more transparency. It sucks that they needed a law to compel them to do that, but if that's what it takes, then fucking fine.
yeah. I mean, it was always true.
It was always
Um,
true, but
but
now they have to be very clear about it
yeah,
because your games can be revoked from you. You do not. I mean, technically, you've never owned a game, even in the days when you were buying them physically. You owned a license to play them, which came accompanied with the disc that the game was on or the
hmm,
cartridge that the game was on. Which is why I've never felt bad about pirating games that I already own
yeah.
because it's like, well, hold on. If I bought a license to this game, then does it matter if I'm playing it on the original hardware? Like if I, for
Yeah.
example, we talked about Final Fantasy VI. If I pirate the Super Nintendo version of Final Fantasy VI, am I really am I really doing anything unlawful because I own the Super Nintendo version?
I'm pretty sure that all ROM sites specifically state that this is meant for
Well,
people.
they
It's meant
yeah,
for that. It's obviously
the,
not used for that, but like
no.
they specifically state this is for people who already own said game.
Yeah, or like how they used to say, "Oh, if you don't delete these within 24 hours, you're breaking the law." It's like, no, that's not how it works.
Yeah, you're breaking
But
the law as soon as you use it.
yeah,
That's
but like
there's
if
no time limit.
yeah,
You know.
you don't get a head start
No.
and take backs.
If you
But
take
if
back
I
that murder
yeah
within
yeah,
24 hours, you're okay. No.
but like if I were to download the well, not the PlayStation version because I actually also do own the PlayStation version. What version of Final Fantasy VI don't I own? I don't own the GBA version. If I were to download a ROM of the GBA version, that would not fly because I don't have a license to that version. But
Right.
I have a license to the Super Nintendo version because I own it. I have a license to the PlayStation version because
Yep.
I own it. I have a license to the PC version, which is the port of the mobile version with the high resolution graphics, because I own it. So if what I'm buying is a license, then if I pirate that game, am I really doing anything wrong? I'm just
Yeah.
exercising my license.
I used to pirate games all the time to test them to see if they were worth me buying because they didn't have a demo.
Yeah, and
That's
I
kind of the way
like
I used to do it.
yeah, like I honestly, if you know, if they're not gonna give us a demo, I'm kind of like okay with that because like if you're gonna hide like a shitty game, like you remember Spider-Man 3, the game.
Mm.
You remember what a spectacular catastrophe that
It
was?
was not Spider-Man 2.
Yeah, fuck no, it was not.
No.
If people had known about that in advance,
Yeah, they wouldn't
nobody
have
would
bought it.
have bought it. But they don't want people to know that it was a pile of shit in advance. But
Yeah.
that's not fair. We have I think we're entitled to know what
Well,
we're
these
spending
days
our money
it's
on.
not so bad, at least for PC players, because Steam's
You get a
refund
2 hour
policy
return
is
window.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's so good.
Less
I've
than
I've
2 hours of play or less than 2 weeks of ownership.
yeah, I've played no less than 5 games on Steam where I bought it, and I'm like, yeah, this is fucking bullshit. I can't
Yeah,
believe.
I've done that as well. Like
Yeah,
I'll get a game and I'll find out that I like can't change the settings or rebind the controls, and I'm like, this is a fucking PC game and I can't do that. No, I'm
yeah,
sorry, that's a
yeah.
deal breaker
And the
for
fact that they
me.
give you 2 hours of gameplay in 2 weeks since you bought it to make that decision,
Yeah,
like I usually know within 10 minutes of
yeah,
playing a game
I
whether
think
I
it's
want my
incredibly
money back
fair.
or not.
I think it's
You know?
incredibly fair. I could maybe see an argument for
Oh yeah,
bumping
it's
it up
super
to
fair.
like 3, but I think 2 is totally fair for
Oh yeah,
for most games.
150% fair. Absolutely.
Because like demos used to be less than 2 hours of effective gameplay. I mean, like you didn't have like a hard time limit on most demos, but they'd give you like a level or 2 levels or something. Like the painkiller demo was 1 level. It only took you about 20 minutes to finish, but that was all you needed to know. Like number one, will this game run on my PC? And number two, is it worth buying? And
Yeah.
in my case, the answer was yes to both. But I mean, yeah. So I think 2 hours with the full game is totally fair. And this is just more consumer protection.
Yeah,
I'm absolutely in favor of that.
yeah.
I
Whether
will
people
say
read
the
it or
nice
not
thing,
is on them.
yeah, the nice thing is that in the age of let's plays and game streaming, we can see for ourselves what a game entails. It's not just what the developers or the publishers choose to show us in limited video previews and interviews. It's now we can see basically the entire game up on YouTube and we can make a determination like, does that look like a game I'm interested in? We don't get to play it, but I think that's pretty fair as we get to see it
Yeah,
from the perspective of a player, not from the choice perspective of a publisher.
yeah, yep. No, I agree.
Yeah, I'm absolutely in favor of more consumer protections, and if they have to compel them to be honest, then so be it.
Yeah. So the new law, which takes place in California, but
Hmm.
basically everyone's being like, they're saying this everywhere basically to protect themselves.
Yeah,
Um,
because it's like with GDPR in the European Union, it's too much work to create a
Separate things.
GDPR compliant website and then one that isn't GDPR, so they
Just do it for
just do it for
everyone.
everything. Yeah.
Yeah. So the law prohibits online storefronts from using the words buy, purchase, or any other term which a reasonable person would understand to confer an unrestricted ownership interest in the digital good or alongside an option for a time-limited rental.
Yeah.
The law won't apply to storefronts that state in plain language that you're actually just licensing the digital content, and that license could expire at any time, or to products that can be permanently downloaded. Companies that violate the terms could be hit with a false advertising fine. The law came in after a number of high profile cases in which gamers saw their video games deleted following a server shutdown. The
Hmm.
most recent being Ubisoft, who sparked a backlash after it deleted The Crew from player libraries when that game's servers went offline, meaning even
Yep.
those who paid full price for the open world racer could no longer play it.
Yep.
Ubisoft eventually added offline modes to both The Crew 2 and Crew Motorfest, but said it wouldn't bring it back to the original following its shutdown last March. Can you imagine that? Like The Crew just disappears from your Steam library.
Yeah.
That sucks.
Like it's one thing to no longer offer a game for sale, Little Big Planet 3, looking at you. But to actually deactivate it.
Yeah, like just gone.
Yeah.
Take it out
That's
of your library. Like that's bullshit.
yeah. I mean, I don't think that they should remove stuff for sale at all on a digital storefront, with the exception of there being like some kind of licensing issue,
Yeah,
because that's a different thing, right? I
but I mean, like in
understand.
in this case, The Crew was an online only game, so selling it would be like fraud.
Yeah. Well, you should have a fucking offline mode
Yeah, yeah.
if
They did
if
add it
that's
to
going to
the
be
sequels, but not to the original.
yeah.
But
Um.
I mean, the same thing will happen to like World of Warcraft.
Yeah.
They're
But I
never
mean,
gonna. They're never gonna add an offline mode to World of Warcraft.
yeah. Yeah.
But
It's a tough thing, but I mean also like people have figured out server emulation for World of
yeah.
Warcraft, so nobody's going to cry too hard if it goes away. They'll just find an unlicensed server to play on.
I remember we talked about WildStar last week.
Yeah, yeah. I mean that's how
um,
most MMOs go.
yep. Speaking of Little Big Planet 3, as you alluded to, Sony has announced the permanent removal of Little Big Planet 3 PlayStation 4 edition from the PlayStation Store along with all of its DLC. I have
I
a little bit
wonder
of a
why they
quote
do
here.
that.
Yeah, there's a little bit of a quote here. So, um, Sony has announced plans to pull Little Big Planet 3 from the PlayStation Store for good after years of insurmountable server issues caused by hackers. The PS4 version
Oh.
of Little Big Planet leaves the PlayStation Store permanently on October 31st, with all of its DLC going with it. It's worth noting that if you already own Little Big Planet 3 or buy it before October 31st, you can continue to play after this point. Similarly, if you have downloaded Little Big Planet 3 via PlayStation Plus, you'll still be able to play it after October 31st. Quote, after 10 years of playing, creating, and sharing content in Little Big Planet 3, the game and our entire range of Little Big Planet DLC will be removed from the PlayStation Store. Quote, this is a friendly heads up that if anyone in the community or any newcomers still wish to own a digital copy of Little Big Planet 3 or the DLC, this is your last chance to do so. Um, it's the latest development for Sony's ill-fated platformer, which
You
is
got
set
pretty
to
far before flubbing something.
yeah, that was pretty good,
Yeah.
especially for someone who's under the weather.
Yeah.
Which is set to leave the PlayStation Plus subscription next week, despite a first-party PlayStation being a first-party PlayStation Studios game. The Sumo Digital developed Little Big Planet 3 launched on PS3 and PS4 in November 2014, and as a PlayStation Studios title, is wholly owned by Sony Interactive Entertainment. Little Big Planet 3's exit from PlayStation Plus has sparked speculation that Sony might be planning to release a remaster or a remake for
Well,
PlayStation 5 and PC. Similarly, Sony pulled Guerrilla's Horizon Zero Dawn from PlayStation Plus back in May, and last month announced a remaster for it for PS5 and PC.
yeah.
Perhaps Little Big Planet 3 will follow suit.
Now, I
Continue.
forget, is Little Big Planet 1 and 2, are they available on PC? I feel like they are, but I don't know for sure.
I think so.
We could look that up. We have the technology. I feel
Yes.
like I've seen, yeah, I feel like I've
Oh
seen
wait,
a little.
no, that's a Sackboy: A Big Adventure.
Oh, okay. Right, I forgot about that. Now here's what I want to know. Little Big Planet lets you share and download levels. Is that functionality going to remain?
No, it hasn't been. Actually, well, I'll just continue on the
Oh, does it go
article here.
on to?
Yeah, Sony shut down Little Big Planet 3 servers permanently in April this year due to technical issues, and after long-running DDoS attacks, resulting in the loss of millions of online community levels.
Oh,
Yeah,
oh, so it's some fucking dipshits who are,
fucked it up for everybody. Yeah,
yeah. What the fuck, man?
yeah. I don't know. What would prompt somebody to do that to a game that's that old.
Yeah.
Very strange. So yeah, you can still play Little Big Planet 3, but it's just the single player stuff, and you can create your own
Yeah, I
stuff.
mean that's like doing Mario Maker without having access to community levels.
Yeah, I mean you can
That's-
play your own, I guess, but yeah,
Yeah, but I
Kinda
mean you
sucks.
already know how to solve those levels.
yeah, that's true. That's a good
Yeah,
point.
the heart and soul of that game is getting other people's insane sadistic levels and figuring out how to beat
Or the
them.
fun ones where they like make music.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Those are fun ones.
Or fucking calculators with pulleys.
Yeah,
Those people are insane.
yeah, very creative people.
Yeah.
Just a few more to go through here, starting with Microsoft picks up MechWarrior 5 Clans for day one Xbox Game Pass launch. Not much to say there. The game comes out on October 16th on PC, PS5, Xbox Series, and we now know it also hits Xbox Game Pass and PC Game Pass.
Yeah. Okay.
So I'll be able to play it and see if it's a Trevor game, and if it is, I'll give you some feedback.
Yeah. Okay.
I haven't played a MechWarrior game since like MechWarrior 2.
God, I can't even remember the last time I played one. I know I've played at least one of them, but I can't even remember which one it was.
Yeah.
It's been that long.
It says MechWarrior 5 Clans brings a story-rich, linear-based, single-player, cooperative, narrative-driven action game to fans for the first time in decades.
That is a lot of buzzwords.
That is a lot of buzzwords.
That feels like a parody of a press release sentence. That's like a penny arcade comic.
Oh, Inscription came out on Game Pass yesterday,
Oh, okay.
as of this recording, so that's cool too.
Yeah, you've been
Play
telling
that
me to
game.
play that. Yeah.
Everybody play that game. It's so good. Can't wait to see what they do next. I think they revealed what they're making next, but I can't remember what it is at this moment. Two left. This one's so weird. Red Dead Redemption finally has a PC release date 14 years after
God.
it launched.
Yes.
October 29th, 2024.
And that's the game I was referring to earlier. As
Oh.
I might have to dip into the budget.
You never
To
played
get
the
that.
original?
No, I love the original.
Oh, you're just going to rebuy it. I see.
Yeah, I've been wanting it on PC for over a decade.
Yeah. I played it enough. I don't need to play it again.
I want it at 60 FPS. I want mods. Holy shit, the mods. They'll be
Yeah, I
amazing.
don't understand why that game was never patched for like
It's-
or remastered, right?
It's so bizarre. Like
Yeah.
everything else they've done has come out on PC. Why that one thing?
I don't think our Red Dead Redemption 2 ever was remastered for PS5 or Xbox
No, but
Series.
it came out
either.
on PC.
No, yeah, for sure.
And I think those games are just compatible. So they probably get like resolution and frame rate bumps.
Yeah. Undead Nightmare
Yeah.
was really good.
God, it was so good. It
Yeah.
was it was the weirdest thing. Do you remember it was during that time when zombies were super popular? Like The
Hmm.
Walking Dead season 1 was out and like it was the height of zombie popularity and they were just like, fuck it, cowboy zombies. And it
Yep.
was like, what?
And it was
Okay.
good.
And this is actually really good.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'm not going to argue with that.
Yep. They said something that it's missing though. Oh yeah, the multiplayer. There's no multiplayer.
The multiplayer was not.
It was fine. Yeah.
I mean, there's some like maybe the Undead Nightmare multiplayer is kind of a you know
Shoot
kind of
zombies
a
together.
yeah, because that was kind of cool. It's a survival mode, and I like survival mode cooperative play. But the online in Red Dead Redemption was just it was kind of there. You couldn't use Deadeye because it slows down time, and you can't do that in an online game. So it
Mm.
just kind of became a third person shooter, which was okay. But
There is one
they
unfortunate part of this release though.
oh, what's that?
The price.
Oh, is it full price?
It's $50 US, which probably means 79.99
Ah,
Canadian, which is insanely stupid for a 14-year
for
old game.
for a game that old.
Although it does add a bunch of stuff, modern stuff. So it adds native 4K resolution and up to
Well, that's not too
144 hertz,
That's
which
that's a
is
little more challenging depending on how the game logic works.
yeah. Monitor support for ultra wide and super ultra wide.
What the fuck is super ultra wide? Is that like
So
three ultra
a
wides?
yeah, so an ultra wide
Is that
is
panoramic?
yeah. I've seen a couple. They're ridiculous. The ultra wide is basically two non HD monitors,
Yeah,
and a super ultra wide is three.
I've seen Shadow of the Tomb Raider played on, or is Rise of the one of those Tomb Raider reboot games played on three widescreen monitors.
Yeah,
It's fucking insane. You start to feel claustrophobic because you can see so much to the left and right, but like you can't see anything above or below you. Because of that disparity, it feels like you're being crushed.
I think if I'm not mistaken, well, first of all, super ultra wides are disgustingly expensive.
Yeah.
But I think they're all curved as well,
Oh,
so that you have like peripheral vision practically.
it missed me with that curved monitor bullshit.
I'm looking at a 49-inch OLED Samsung.
God,
Holy-
that's got to be like at least $900.
Oh, it's 1400.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. What else has it got? Full keyboard and mouse support, upscaling technologies that support DLSS
Oh,
and
yeah.
FSR. Although
Well,
I don't
I
know why you
mean,
would need it on a game that old.
yeah, you should. And I looked at the spec requirements for it. It's like it'll run on a GTX 960, which doesn't surprise me.
Oh,
It's
so
an
it would run on mine. Cool.
yeah. It's an Xbox 360 PS3 game. I have no reason to think that you'd need. I mean, obviously it needs a little bit more power because if it's going to do
4K
like
and all that. Yeah.
yeah, but I mean that's just that's expected. It's still well below any moderately medium spec PC.
Yep.
And I mean, if they built like the one thing that I can think of is maybe they built that game exclusively for those architectures and just never had like an Intel x86 version. Maybe that's why it's taken so long.
The recommended graphics card is an RTX 2070.
Yeah, recommended. That's how you get DLSS.
Yeah.
But the
The
bare
minimum is RTX 960. Yeah.
yeah. So, yeah, it's unfortunate about the price, but I mean,
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
it's a big game with a lot of content, and
I would just add it to your wish list and wait for a sale. I don't think it would take
yeah,
long.
I'm probably gonna do that.
Yeah.
But man, that is such a good fucking game.
Yeah, it is. I spent many hours playing Liar's Dice in that game.
God, I just would ride around on a horse just looking for weird shit. And there's weird shit to find, man.
Yeah, just like RDR2. Yeah.
Yeah, like you'll
Although I didn't
find
like RDR2. But
you'll find like just weird encounters out in the wild. It's
Yep.
it's so cool. Love that game.
all right, moving on to our last one. Usually save this for last. The PlayStation Plus game catalog for October has been revealed. So if you are a extra or premium member, you are going to get the following games: Dead Island 2, which I did play, and it didn't do anything for me.
Yeah, that's
But
kind of what I hear about the Dead Island games in general. It's like,
I liked the
meh.
first one, but I think
Okay.
Dying Light did it way better. So I just
Yeah, well, and that's the same developer, isn't it?
mm,
Or at least the same team,
I
maybe
don't
under a different
know. They
studio. I
split
don't know.
off because they made Dying Light because of something. I don't know. I can't remember.
Oh,
There
okay.
was like a split. That's why they didn't
Okay.
make Dead Island 2. So I think you might be right. I think no. Dead Island 2 was made by someone different. The Dying Light team made Dying Light or Dead Island 1. I think that
So it's like the Rock Band Guitar Hero
yeah,
situation.
they like
Yeah.
split off for some reason.
Okay.
Yeah. It's gorgeous and it's gory, but it's I don't know, I don't find it fun. And it's very difficult. I don't know why I find it very very challenging.
I mean, it's a zombie apocalypse. I figured anything that's labeled an apocalypse should probably be at least moderately difficult.
I
Otherwise,
suppose
it
so.
wouldn't be much of an apocalypse, would it?
That's true. 2 Point Campus also coming. I played 2 Point Hospital and it was pretty good. It's if you've played oh shit, what was that hospital game?
Oh,
Oh,
Theme
Theme
Hospital or
Hospital.
whatever? Yeah.
Yeah, if you've played Theme Hospital, you know exactly what to expect out of 2 Point Hospital. So 2 Point Campus is basically just the you know college or university version of that game.
Yep.
I'll play it. It's fun, but it's never something I would ever buy. But it's fun that it's free. The Dark Pictures anthology, The Devil in Me, which is the supermassive guys, the guys that did Until Dawn and Quarry and all that kind of stuff.
Oh, apparently the Until Dawn remaster is having some tech problems.
Yeah, some significant issues, and it's not reviewing
Yeah.
very well either.
Which is like things have got to be bad because it's a good game that people love. So if the
Well,
remake,
they changed a lot.
oh, did they?
Well, it's a remake, not a remaster, so it's not
Um,
nine. So nine. So let me back up. 100, pretty much 100% of the original game was static camera angles, like Resident Evil style. They've removed that, and it's now third person. But the problem with that is that they don't give you a run button,
oh,
so you're
jeez.
walking all the time everywhere, and it's slow.
Yeah, that's probably related to like the timing of certain events.
Well, no, because like in the game, you get access to like open areas because you have to explore and like pick up items and stuff that could
Yeah.
potentially help you or like change the story.
Well, I'm
Um,
just thinking about like chase scenes because there are some chases in that game.
yeah. I think those are still quick time events though. I don't think they're I don't think you're actually running in them or anything like that. Like they haven't
Weren't
changed
there
that
weren't,
level.
weren't there a few where they were like you actually were and then like when the monster would get close, it was like a QTE to dodge. But didn't you have like free movement?
It's been
I'd
so
have to
long, I
look.
don't remember.
Yeah, I'd have to look it
Honestly.
up. I have to look it
Yeah.
up. That game came out like
But yeah, they
I
changed
was
camera angles. There's some other stuff they changed. Oh, they changed the totems. So you would find these totems that would give
yeah
you a premonition of a character's death that's upcoming, so that you could try and figure out, okay, that's
yeah.
how they're gonna die. I got to make sure that doesn't happen.
Hmm.
Um, Before you would just pick up the totem and you would look at it and it would go, into this
Yeah.
vision. Now you have to pick it up and find and do one of those like 360-degree turn
Oh
things
yeah.
and
One of
find
the what Resident Evil game had that? Was it the Resident Evil One remake where you could actually inspect items in your inventory and it's
all
like
of the
oh,
remakes have that feature now. Yeah,
but
where you
I
can.
think it was specifically the Resident Evil One remake on the GameCube that did it first,
Yeah, pretty sure.
where you'd like oh you find there's a little hatch on the bottom of this music box and
Yeah,
inside there's the key.
yeah.
Yeah, I kind of like that, but
Well, that the problem with, or the good thing about Resident Evil is that it was cool because you'd be like, oh look, there's a key on the bottom of this thing, taped to the bottom or whatever.
yeah,
With this game, basically you're looking for this little tiny flashing light, but
oh
it only it glows bright when you go over it. So you're basically just
Oh.
doing this.
Oh, you're just scanning row by row.
Yeah,
Okay, yeah,
yeah.
that shit sucks.
So it's pointless and stupid. And I haven't heard great things about the Dark Pictures anthology games, so I might play it just to see if I have any interest in it. I have heard that The Devil in Me is the best of the Dark Pictures games, so whatever that means.
Yeah,
I remember playing the first one. I got like 20 minutes into it, and I was like, "This sucks. This is
that's a
garbage."
shame.
Yeah, in comparison to the other stuff they've made.
Yeah.
Gree is coming to
There you
PS4 and
go.
PS5. I
You
said it
got
right.
that one right. Hooray.
Return to Monkey Island for PlayStation 5.
Man, I loved The Secret of Monkey Island as a kid. I loved that game so much.
Yeah, I think this is the third game.
I never really played any of them beyond the first one. So, I mean, I played a little bit of the second one, but
I,
it kind of felt like a one and done thing to me. Like I like the character of Guybrush Threepwood, but like I kind of feel as though the joke runs kind of thin
well,
after so many games.
all of the games that came after Monkey Island 2, I think were like separate canon, like separate
No,
timelines.
no, they tie into the first two games. They have a
So,
dramatic shift in the art style.
well, it says in this one that this is the continuation of the legendary adventure games Secret of Monkey Island and Monkey Island 2 specifically. So I don't know.
That's a very weird way to phrase that. I don't know why they would say that.
Yeah, I don't know. I'd have to look it up, but yeah, I'll probably play that. That sounds cool. Ghostbusters: Spirits Unleashed, which is the multiplayer game.
Yeah, I think could actually be fun. I could
I
see
thought that was a
being
VR game, but maybe not.
like asymmetrical multiplayer game, but it's flipped where it's
Yeah, it's four
essentially
players
four
against a ghost.
yeah, instead of being one killer against four players. Yeah, that could be fun.
Yeah, it's just PvE. It's a co-op game
Oh,
basically.
yeah, okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
that'll probably be fine.
You can play alone with bots as well.
Sure, sure.
Firefighting Simulator: The Squad, also coming to PS4 and PS5. I wonder if that's from the same guys who made that Police Squad one that I played like a month or two ago. Which it's a simulator game, so like these games are not like amazing. But I got a good like 10 hours out of the Police one.
Okay.
It was pretty fun. So maybe the firefighter.
Is it one of
was
those
good.
comedy simulator games, or is it one of
No.
those like serious simulator games?
It was pretty serious. Yeah, I mean,
So it's like Farming Simulator or Euro Truck
nowhere
Simulator.
near that depth. Like basically, you were just a cop that you customize an avatar for, and you went out, and the first day you're just doing parking tickets.
Yeah, so
And
it's like you're a beat cop, and
Yeah, and then like you
Okay.
level up, and then you can do like traffic accidents, like those kind of reports and stuff like that, and help people.
plant drugs on minorities. What?
Yeah. Yeah, I think I stopped at you just continuously unlock the ability to monitor more and more crimes, and it gets more and more complicated as you go.
Yeah.
But it was definitely like budget, you could tell, like
Yeah.
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 But it was fun for what it was. Well, it looks like the firefighter one is up to 4 players co-op. That's kind of cool. Moving on, Overpass 2 for PS5, which I think is like an ATV game.
It sounds like a highway game.
Identify the best routes and balance of power, speed, and precision to overcome obstacles at the controls of a UTV, ATV, or rock bouncer.
Don't mind me, I'm just laughing at my own dumb joke.
I heard you. It looks like it's online and offline. I've never heard of Overpass, let alone Overpass 2. But I'll try it. I wonder if it's more arcadey than it is simulation, because I love arcade racers, man.
Yeah.
Love me some arcade racing games.
Burnout.
Not enough of them these days.
Yeah. I mean,
For
Crazy
some
Taxi's
strange-
not really.
Go ahead.
Crazy Taxi's not really a racing game, but it is an arcade driving game. So I'll give it to that. I mean, I guess you're kind of racing. You're racing against time.
Yeah. Yeah,
Close enough.
it's close.
Yeah.
For some strange reason, Tour de France 2023.
Okay.
Very strange.
Last year's bicycling racing game.
Well, it would have been
Okay.
2 years ago because the year that they do it is typically the year before.
Is the Tour de France something that they alternate on, or is it just every year?
I have no idea. I stopped giving a shit after I found out that Lance Armstrong was a
It
fake.
just did all the drugs.
I'm like, oh, okay, so like how many other people were completely fake?
Guess what? It's most of them.
Yeah. Don't give a shit because you're all cheaters.
Yeah.
Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon Wildlands returns to PlayStation Plus.
Interesting.
Not, they do that every so often with games where they come back. I'm like, why were they removed in the first place then? Very strange.
Yeah.
For PlayStation Premium members only, you are going to get The Last Clockwinder, which is a PlayStation VR 2 game.
Okay. What do you do? In
Dino
that game?
Crisis.
Do you wind clocks?
Well, the description reads, clone your actions into endlessly repeating loops to build assembly lines and contraptions. Harvest resources, grow plants, and restore life to an ancient tree in this award-winning VR game. Your mission is to
Okay.
repair the clock tower.
That went places way faster and to a much greater degree than I expected.
Yeah, I don't understand why it's called The Last Clockwinder if it has to do with growing plants and harvesting resources.
Yeah.
It says your mission is
Okay.
to repair the clock tower in an ancient haven for the galaxy's plants. The galaxy's plants.
Why does this keep getting more extreme with every sentence?
Well, see, now
It's
I have
not-
to continue because
It's not. There's a clock tower, and then there's a giant tree, and now there's an entire galaxy.
Galaxy.
Like, what the fuck?
Use the Clockwinder's gloves to turn the actions you take into looping clockwork clones. They can do everything you can from planting to cutting to throwing items through the air. Use
Okay.
their help to save the clock tower.
I can kind of see. I can kind of see it. Like
I
you're.
kind of
you're-
want to see what this game looks like.
Yeah,
Last.
like you're. It's like It's like in
Clearly
a
a
fighting.
puzzle game, but
It's like in a fighting game where you do the record mode where you do an action so that you can practice
yeah.
against it. But it's for instead of like practicing your parrying in Street Fighter 3, it's for harvesting resources and stuff. Okay, I could.
they
I
had
could
this
kinda see
that feature in Talos Principle.
Yeah, it feels like the kind of thing that would get like really,
VR'd.
really big and heavy and probably too intricate and time consuming for my taste. But I could see it. I
Yeah.
could see people being into that kind of thing. Just not for me.
No,
Also, it's a VR game.
it's a
you
VR
said?
game.
So yeah, I don't even have the
No.
hardware for that.
We talked about it last week, but Dino Crisis comes out on Premium. Siren also comes out on Premium, another PS2
Oh,
classic.
that's that game where you can see from the perspective of the monsters. It's
Wasn't that like a pseudo sequel to Parasite Eve? You sure?
pretty sure. Never heard of it in conjunction with Parasite Eve. Maybe there was somebody on the team who worked on Parasite Eve. Who knows? But it was it's a survival horror game where I believe they call it sight jacking, where you can see from the enemy's perspective. To
Don't
to,
put
like,
jacking in
Yeah.
the names of your.
Yeah,
No, don't do that.
your gimmicks. But anyway,
I think I might
you
be
can
right.
you can take over the enemy's point of view to see if they can see you, like whether you're in their field of view, so that you can figure out a way to get past them. It's like, oh, they can see this, this, and this, but they can't see this, so I'll have to sneak around there to be out of their line of sight, so they won't come after me.
Oh
It's
yeah,
a-
it did
it's a-
say yeah. Survival depends on your ability to sight jack.
Yeah,
That's funny.
yeah, that's a different thing.
Was it a good game?
God, it's fucking forever, man.
Yeah. Well, I can try it. Yeah. I'll
Yeah.
give it a shot. R-Type Dimensions X. One of the
Okay.
thousands of R-Type games.
Yeah, those are fine, but I also don't know why they keep making them.
No.
You know, I feel like if you've played R-Type, you've played all of them. It's good though. Like R-Type is a fun game. I'm not going to say that it's a bad game.
And Legacy of Kain Blood Omen, which we also talked about last week.
Oh, good. Good.
And that is it for the news.
Mm-hmm.
Which means it's time for topic of the week.
Yes, and we had a different topic planned, and then Jason Schreier dropped a book.
His latest book called
Play Nice.
Play Nice. Yeah, The Rise and Fall and Future of Blizzard. So I'm just going to read this article because basically what we found, IGN put out an article that combines their history of reports on Blizzard with Jason Schreier's comments from the book into a comprehensive list of canceled Blizzard projects.
Yeah.
So we're going to go through that list and just kind of comment on what we find here and what
Can
we
you
see.
can you drop a link to that in the chat, because it's not on IGN's front page right now.
Mm-hmm.
I meant to pull it up. I knew I was fucking forgetting something before the show.
Oh, good. I'm going to read the whole article here. It's not very long, so I'm going to read it just to give IGN their props. And Rebecca Valentine from IGN wrote this. So strap in for a second. For every major game released by a massive AAA gaming company, there are almost certainly piles upon piles of canceled games that we'll never see, hear, or know about. Some canceled games may have gotten far enough in development that there are builds of them on an office PC somewhere, while others may not have gotten past the phase of creative leads drooling in notebooks and batting ideas around about over drinks. Blizzard Entertainment is no exception, but thanks to dogged reporting.
Dogged.
Is that a phrase?
Yeah.
Dogged?
Yeah.
I've never heard that phrase before. Dogged
It's
reporting.
like working like a dog. You know?
Dogged reporting. I mean,
Yeah, working hard.
sure.
Which Jason has absolutely done here, because this
he's
is pretty comprehensive.
Yeah, he's a crazy dude. He's good. He's an actual journalist in an industry that doesn't have very many of them. Let me start over. Blizzard Entertainment is no exception, but thanks to dogged reporting, audiences have been able to glean a sizable snapshot over the years of its canceled catalog. There have been multiple excellent attempts to summarize every canceled Blizzard game we know about, but we think the time is ripe for another one. This is because Bloomberg journalist Jason Schreier has just released a brand new book entitled Play Nice, The Rise, Fall, and Future of Blizzard Entertainment. In it, Schreier tells the fascinating 30-year history of Blizzard through over 300 interviews of current and former employees.
God,
so naturally the book... Sorry?
Yeah, that's a lot of people.
Well, that book
That's
probably took a long
insane.
time to make. That's for sure.
I'm sure he's been working on it for years.
Oh, yeah. So naturally, the book includes a number of anecdotes about canceled Blizzard games. Some of them we've heard of, many of them, including a canceled Blizzard Star Wars game, a Warcraft? Jesus. Warcraft
That's a
Pokemon
real-time
Go-
strategy game with Lara Croft from the Tomb Raider series.
Warcraft. A Warcraft Pokemon Go hybrid have never been revealed to the public before. Using past reports combined with everything we read. Yep. Everything we read in Play Nice, we've compiled a new definitive list of every canceled Blizzard project over the years and what we know about it. For more details, you'll need to check out Schreier's book, which we also interviewed him about in greater detail last month. So,
I believe that book is out today. Is that not the case? Yeah.
I would love to read that book.
Yeah.
If I was a book reader. I'm not a book reader.
I wonder if there's an ebook version.
Maybe. I would assume so.
It seems like this would be the target demographic for an ebook.
Exactly right.
Something you could read on your phone.
I believe these games are chronically listed.
Chronologically listed? I don't know if they are, but...
Chronologically, yes.
Yeah.
But we'll find out.
You're not feeling good today.
No,
You're breaking down, man.
Chronically listed. Jesus. All right, let's start with games people play. I'm going to read each article and we'll talk about what it says. Not much is known about games people play, and it doesn't make an appearance in Play Nice, but games people play is cited in just about every list of canceled Blizzard games available. It's listed on Moby Games as well as it's listed, man.
Would you like me to read these?
You can read that one. Give me a break for a sec.
It's listed on Moby Games as a crossword/word game that was in development in the early 90s at Blizzard. Which is interesting, because that was a time when they were doing a lot of console games, like The Last Vikings and Blackthorn. Although I think there is a PC version of Blackthorn. So,
Yeah, I don't know why
But
they would decide to just randomly do a crossword game.
yeah, that I mean, as like a more recent thing, in the era of like casual games and party games, I
Yeah,
can
it makes
see that.
sense now, for
But
sure.
back in the '90s, yeah, that's a weird choice. Maybe that's why they canceled it.
Maybe it was just a backup
Yeah,
if things
maybe.
failed, and they were like, let's just do something that we know will at least sell decently. Who
Yeah.
knows? All right,
Do
I'll
you
read
want to
the
get the
next.
next one, or should I just
Let's
go?
go back and forth. Yeah.
Okay.
Next one is Crixa. I'm assuming is how you say it.
I have no idea. So that's what I would go with.
Only meriting a brief mention in Plain Ice, Crixa was a top-down 2D space shooter with 3D spaceship models. It was developed by Qualia Games. I'm gonna say that's how you say that, Qualia.
Your guess is as good as mine.
Qualia Games in the mid 90s and was supposed to be published by Blizzard. A final prototype did get delivered to Blizzard, but the game was unfortunately canceled due to not being competitive in the 1996 market, per artist David Sia. Qualia was shut down not long after.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. I mean, by that point, you had like X-wing versus Tie Fighter, stuff like that.
Yeah,
You
2D
had
space
a
shooters were kind of
whole bunch of Wing Commander
gone.
games. So
Yeah, everyone was looking to the future, I think, at that
yeah,
point.
yeah,
And,
and that's just. I don't think that's just what people were into at that point.
no.
You know.
All right, you got the
All
next one.
right. So, Pax Imperia 2. 1992's Pax Imperia, developed by Changeling Studios, reviewed and sold well enough to warrant a sequel. So, Changeling partnered with Blizzard to get it done. The game was announced at CES 1995 and planned for a holiday release that year, but that release never came. Blizzard later sold the rights to Pax Imperia to THQ, which then partnered with Heliotrope Studios to release Pax Imperia Eminent Domain in 1997. At the time, Alan Adams said that the game wasn't progressing as well as Blizzard hoped, and noted that Blizzard was too small to juggle too many projects at once. Pax Imperia 2 is mentioned only briefly in Play Nice alongside Crixia. Crixia? They spell it Crixia there, not Crixa. That's okay. I'm going to assume that it's
Oh, yeah.
Crixa and not Crixia, because they've only made that mistake once. So I'm going to
Yeah,
assume
I'm
it's
assuming
Crixa.
it's Crixa. Yeah.
Well, I would probably have more to say if I'd ever played Pax Imperia 1.
I've looked it up. It looked very complicated.
Oh, yeah.
It was one of those like old school PC games where like it was a lot of
Super
menus.
detailed empire
Yeah.
management. So, like, Romance of the Three Kingdoms or Nobunaga's Ambition kind of thing. I mean, I do sometimes like those games. I mean, I love Master of Orion too, but
Yep. I was gonna
I don't
say.
think I don't think I could play multiple of those games. I
No.
kind of feel like I get into one, and then that's my one.
That's kind of like me with Civilization. You
Yeah.
know, there's all these other Civilization clones that are reportedly very good,
And
but
all these games in the Civilization series. Oh,
Yeah.
you can't get
yeah, he's being a
into,
butthole.
Yeah.
The problem is he wakes up at certain times and then he seemingly just wants to go outside. And
Yeah.
then he starts begging to go outside, and I'm like, you know you can't go outside. Why are you asking? Stop.
Yeah.
It's very strange. For those who don't know, he is a rescue. So he lived on the streets pretty much his whole life until he got to me.
Yeah. And they
So-
operate on their own time.
Yeah. So he
And by their own rules.
yeah, he's slowly learning the rules around here, but every so often he gets ornery.
Yeah.
But he knows what the squirt bottle's for. He knows what it means. All I have to do
They
is
learn that pretty quickly.
yeah, I usually only have to hold it up to him, and he knows what it
I've
means.
never seen a cat who didn't learn that very fast.
Yeah, he knows what it means, but sometimes he's just like whatever.
Challenging you.
Yeah, he's challenging me. I'm like,
Do it.
I'm like, I'll do it. Don't test me. Yeah. Yeah.
Denizen
I
is
haven't played
next.
Pax Imperia either, so let's move on. Denizen. Denizen has appeared a few times on lists of canceled Blizzard games over the years, but we've never had any details about what it actually was until now. It's only mentioned briefly in Play Nice, but Schreier refers to it as a dungeon crawler that was shelved due to lack of resources sometime in the mid-90s.
You know what that sounds like to me? That sounds like we don't want to compete with Diablo. Our own dungeon crawler game.
Yeah,
is
that makes
doing
sense.
Incredibly well. That's fair.
I mean, due to lack of resources, they probably looked at Diablo and it and went, which one do we want to go with? And they went with
Yeah.
That would be
And
my
I mean,
guess.
Blizzard was a smaller company back then.
Oh yeah, yeah. Diablo made them big.
Yeah, Warcraft and Diablo, and then
Yeah.
StarCraft.
And
Yeah,
then
that's
StarCraft, yeah. And just took off.
imagine being a developer who had three massive hits like that in a row. Well, no, four because there was also Warcraft 2 in there.
Hmm. But three
That's
new IP, basically.
yeah, three new IP, all massive hits in a row. Like,
Yeah.
God, they must have felt like they were the
Just on
champions of the
fire,
world.
unstoppable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they were
Yeah.
fucking great games, and
Yeah.
everybody loved them.
Yep.
That's why it hurts so much to talk about Blizzard now,
Yeah.
because they were like, they were the best.
Yep.
They
They're
were the
definitely
best,
not the
and
same company
now,
anymore.
well, to see what they've become, and then to find out what in some cases they always were behind the scenes.
Yeah,
It,
the bro behavior.
yeah, it fucking hurts, man.
Yeah, for sure.
Anyway, Bloodlines. Surprise! A never before mentioned in public cancelled Blizzard game, revealed for the first time in Play Nice. We don't have too much in the way of details on Bloodlines, but Schreier calls it a space vampire game that didn't resonate enough with staff to justify its existence. Boy, I fucking wonder why. Like Denison, it was also worked on during the mid 1990s. Yeah, yeah, I agree. That sounds ridiculous.
Kind of funny that
Although
it has the same title as another
as
vampire game.
well, I mean, anything to do with vampires is probably going to have blood in the title at some point.
That's funny.
But I mean, look, I say that sounds like a weird idea, but I mean that's kind of what Among Us is. You're not literally a vampire, but one of them is a secret monster in
Yeah.
space.
I
So
wonder what kind of game it was.
yeah, it wouldn't have
Like,
been
what
a game-
genre were they going
It wouldn't
for?
have been like Among Us. It would have been something different. But
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, I don't
I
know
don't
what that
know.
would have
Maybe,
been.
you know,
They liked top-down views, so I don't know.
yeah, yeah. Well, it's easy to do if you're a small studio. Pre-rendered
Maybe it was like
top
Chip's
down.
Challenge. There's a deep cut for you.
No, you're gonna trigger my asthma again.
Whoopsie. I gypped you. Oh
Yeah.
man, that's funny.
But yeah, I have no idea. I honestly, again, like, I would have been.
Seems like they were doing a lot of experimenting in the '90s.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, Diablo was an experiment. That game was originally meant to be turn-based. Yeah,
Yeah.
It wasn't gonna be real time. There's Ars Technica
Good switch.
has a great video on the story behind that decision to make it real time. And I think I've mentioned this before, but I think it was David Brevik who was in that video, talks about how the moment he realized that the real time switch was the right idea was when he realized it was the same satisfaction as popping bubble wrap, like clicking on a monster and then smacking it with your weapon and watching them die.
I
It
do
gave you
remember that story.
That same, like, just, OCD kind of satisfaction of popping bubble wrap, which is true. I mean, I think that's why so many people got hooked on Diablo. That's why I got hooked on Diablo. It was fun. It was satisfying.
It's probably why people got addicted to Plants vs Zombies too.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know why that game came to mind with that bubble popping thing, but that's what came to mind instantly was that game. All right, next game, Raikou.
Raiko.
Raiko. Okay. Raiko is another mysterious game we don't have much info on. All we know from a former developer is that it was a Diablo-style game with a 3D engine set in ancient Japan. It was developed by Flex Tech, which would have been published by Blizzard, but was canceled right around the time Vivendi bought the latter company.
Yeah, that's right. Vivendi owned Blizzard for a bit, didn't they? That was a weird time.
That was a very weird time.
Yeah, so basically, Japanese-themed Diablo with better graphics.
Well, quote unquote better.
Well, yeah, at the
3D
time...
at the time, you know.
would not necessarily have been better. More flexible graphics, but yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's, again, same thing we said about Denizen. It's probably...
Yeah, don't compete with your own stuff.
Yeah, don't compete with your own stuff when
EA.
it's doing that well. Yeah. Shattered Nations, one of Blizzard's better-known cancel projects. Shattered Nations was another mid-90s project, I'm sensing a theme here,
Yeah.
that never saw the light of day. In Play Nice, Schreier shares a bit more insight. Shattered Nations was inspired by Sid Meier's Civilization. Not surprising. But unfortunately, lead designer James Finney wasn't able to convince Blizzard co founder Alan Adam that a turn based game was worth pursuing. Adam had just finished convincing creator David Brevik to take Diablo real time and move away from its turn based roots. So it sounds like avoiding this style of play was becoming a running theme around this era at Blizzard. Yeah, I don't think there's much that needs to be said about that. That
Interesting.
makes perfect sense.
Yeah, I think it was the right decision too. If like I said, going after Civilization is tough.
Yeah,
It's established.
It's very
Back then
established.
it wasn't, but
Well, I mean, even back then, Civilization I think really took off with Civilization 2.
yeah,
Because
definitely.
that was the game that I remember like exploding into popularity, and
Yeah,
everybody was playing it. I remember Civilization 1 being a thing, but it wasn't the all encompassing thing that Civilization 2 became.
2 and 5 seem to be like
Yeah,
the big
yeah,
tentpole ones.
absolutely agreed.
Yeah.
So this one is interesting, a Star Wars game.
Briefly mentioned in Play Nice Try reports that in 1995, right around the time Shattered Nations was on the chopping block, Blizzard very, very briefly worked on a Star Wars licensed strategy game. He tells me that while the game never made it past concept art of AT-ATs and excited but broad discussions internally, those conversations did eventually spark the flame that would become StarCraft. Still, it's fun to imagine what a Blizzard Star Wars game might have looked like if it gotten further along.
Yeah,
Well, I
and
mean, I'm sure they're glad that they canceled the Star Wars one.
yeah, StarCraft worked out really well for them. Although I find it funny that they refer to StarCraft as being sparked by Star Wars when StarCraft is so clearly a riff on Warhammer 40K in the way that Warcraft is a riff on Warhammer Fantasy.
Yeah.
Like even down to the art style, man.
Yeah,
Like with the
100%.
oversized like armor and stuff. Like
Yep.
it's
150%.
it's a total Warhammer.
Same thing with Gears
thing.
of War. Total Warhammer.
Yeah, it's
You
with
know.
the saw blades and
Yep.
stuff. Yeah, it's very Warhammer 40K esque.
Yep.
Yeah, but sure, StarCraft, great game, great decision.
Great decision. Yep.
I
Can't believe there really hasn't been a good Star Wars strategy game, though. There's been a couple of games that were okay, but like none of them are like Command and Conquer level or StarCraft level or.
oh fuck, you know what? That reminds me, there was something we've missed in the news. Jedi Power Battles is coming back.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, I fucking
a
love that
remaster.
game.
That's right.
Yeah, we were talking about that. We were talking about that off the show. We're like, hey, this is coming back. All right, yeah. But yeah,
Yeah.
love that
Yeah,
game.
I didn't add it to my list because I figured you had it, and then I just completely forgot about it.
I totally forgot.
Yep.
Which is, but I mean,
Did it
like
have
I
release
said,
date?
I don't remember.
I'll look it up quick
I
while
was-
you
I
read
was-
the next one.
That was too hype. That was too hype to remember. All right. Warcraft Adventures, Lord of the Clans, another very well-known canceled game. Lord of the Clans was a graphic adventure game from the late 90s that followed Warcraft character Thrall, or is that Thrally? Hold on, no, just Thrall.
Thrall, it's
That's a-
Thrall. Yeah.
That's a frighteningly original name.
He's a
In a
he's
storyline,
main character in the series.
Really? Okay. We've seen replayed in both novel form and in the 2016 Warcraft movie. I should watch that at some
No,
point.
you shouldn't. It's terrible.
Really?
Oh god, it's fucking awful.
Oh.
It's terrible.
Was it really 2016? It feels like it was more recent than that. God.
Yeah.
The game featured point-and-click gameplay and animation heavily inspired by LucasArts games, such as Monkey Island. Jesus, that would have been weird. Lord of the
That would have been
Clans was
very
in
odd.
development for 18 months? Wow, that's...
That's a long time back then.
I'm surprised they didn't finish it, but was ultimately canceled due to struggles detailed in Play Nice. The puzzles weren't clicking, the art style wasn't working, and a chance encounter with Leisure Suit Larry creator Al Lowe at a trade show discouraged developers after Lowe said, "If you guys can't make this work, then who can?" Yeah, that's actually probably what my sentiment would have been back then, too. Because that's not a sign of disrespect. That's saying you guys are some of the best in the business, and this game isn't really working. So maybe that's a sign, if you can't do it, that it shouldn't be done. Cancellation reportedly cost Blizzard hundreds of thousands of dollars. Oh man, woo, ouch. Imagine, imagine if that was all that people lost on canceled games these days, instead of
I mean, back then that
fucking.
was a lot of money, though.
It was a lot of money between the what the budgets of games were back then and what
Yeah,
inflation has done to the value of the dollar. But still,
yeah.
that's not Concord money.
No, no.
So, did you get a date for Jedi Power Battles? Is there a
January
date?
23rd.
Oh, right.
Yep. $20 US.
That's fine. I'd happily pay that. Jedi
Yep,
Power Battles is great. Love that game.
absolutely.
Right. So, Project X.
Yeah, well, I'm still struggling with the fact that they developed that for 18 months and didn't realize that it wasn't working. I
Yeah,
mean, they
that's
must have realized it wasn't working and they just didn't make the decision quick enough.
yeah. Maybe it just kind of languished there before they officially chopped it. But
It's crazy. That's a long
yeah,
time.
18 months is a long time in the 90s.
Yeah. All right. Project X slash Starblow.
Which, yeah,
Which,
God, I'm glad that was an internal name.
yeah. An unnamed project kicked off in the wake of the release of Diablo 2: Lord of Destruction. While half of the Diablo, oh my god, while half of the
You can do
Diablo
it.
2 team went on to work on Diablo 3, the other half started work on what they called Project X, a messy and not non-specific project headed up by David Brevik that at different times was, quote, about kung fu fighting, the pirates, then team-based superhero strategy, end quote.
Jesus.
Eventually, Brevik and Eric Schaefer committed to something they called, quote, Starblow. This was basically a sci-fi take on Diablo that took place in space with players traveling from planet to planet, collecting guns, battling aliens. And Starblow was ultimately canceled in 2003 as part of an upheaval at Blizzard North. Brevik, Eric Schaefer, Max Schaefer, and Bill Roper all quit at once in response to challenges with parent company Vivendi. Blizzard accepted the resignations, laid off others, and refocused the studio on Diablo 3. We talked a lot about that in
Yeah.
our canceled games
Yeah, the Blizzard
series.
North.
Yeah.
Also, that's the second typo they've made in this article with the spelling of Schaefer. I assume they have it correct the second time because that's usually how I've seen the name spelled, where they have it Aefer.
AEFER, that's got to
Yeah.
be the right one, yeah.
Come on, IGN.
Yeah, that's a weird project. Obviously, it like changed many, many times.
Yeah, I don't understand how you go from
Kung
from
fu pirates
kung
and
fu to
superheroes,
pirates, then yeah, that's
and then
God.
eventually it was a sci-fi take on Diablo.
Which
It's
I mean,
sounds
wouldn't-
cool.
It wouldn't be a bad idea. I mean, that's kind of
I'd love
what
like
the
a StarCraft Diablo like.
Well, it's originally what the first Helldivers was. It's a top-down
Yeah.
twin-stick shooter.
Well,
The-
I mean, it was still a roguelite though.
yeah, Diablo's a roguelike as well.
No,
It's got randomly. Yes!
No,
It's got
it's
randomly.
not.
It's randomly generated dungeons, dude. They cite Rogue specifically as the inspiration for the game. It's you cannot tell me that
But I mean,
Diablo's not.
like Diablo 2 and 3 are not roguelites.
Yeah, they are. They're less randomly generated than Diablo 1, but the loot, the
I
monsters,
guess they kind of are.
it's 100% a rogue.
But they're
the
really
only,
dungeon crawlers though.
Yeah, which is what Rogue
But I
is.
guess
You go-
Hades is technically the same thing.
Yes.
That's
What do
weird
you-
to think
have
about.
you ever played Rogue? You go into a dungeon.
I've never heard of Diablo being referred to as a roguelite. Though.
That's
But it is
insane.
though.
That's the most insane shit I've ever heard. It's they David Brevik specifically has cited Rogue as an inspiration for Diablo. He
Yeah,
wanted
no,
to
I
make
always-
a modern graphical Rogue instead of one that was done with text glyphs.
So is there dungeon crawlers that aren't roguelites?
I mean, kind of, but they usually tend to be more action and like first person ish.
That's gonna hurt my brain for a few days.
I don't see why you're having trouble wrapping your head around that.
I
That's
just,
the-
well, I mean, think about how long I've played Diablo, and then all of a sudden I'm like, oh, it's a roguelite.
yeah. Well,
My brain just broke. You
when
broke
I
my
first
brain. Stop.
when I first learned about Rogue, because Rogue came out in like 1982 before either of us were born. I didn't learn about Rogue until after I'd played Diablo, and as soon as I read about it, like
Oh, I
probably
didn't
on
learn
Wiki,
about Rogue until
when I
like-
first heard about it and I read about it, like I think I was reading about it on Wikipedia or something. I said, "Oh, this kind of sounds like Diablo," And then when I scrolled further down and saw that it, was cited as an inspiration for Diablo, I was like, okay, yeah, that checks out.
I think
Because
the first time I ever heard of Rogue was what's that roguelite on PS3? Rogue Legacy,
yeah,
which is funny since it's in the name. But
yeah. Well, I mean, that's probably why it's called Rogue Legacy. It's a game based on the legacy of Rogue.
Yeah,
Makes a lot of sense, actually.
my brain is breaking. Okay, let's move on before it breaks any further.
Yeah. But anyway, just yeah, I think that a sci-fi Diablo game style game would have been cool. Although I guess also Bombshell is kind of like that, and Bombshell wasn't great.
They didn't make Bombshell, though, did they?
No, they didn't make Bombshell.
No.
Bombshell was like a fuck. Who made Bombshell? Was it Void? No, it wasn't Void Point. It was fucking. I'm trying not to smack this bug that's flying around my desk and make a loud sound on the microphone, but it's really pissing me off. No, it was
3 Realms.
Slipgate Ironworks?
Interceptor.
Or Interceptor, there you go, yes.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, well, that's enough about that. Nomad. Nomad was in development at Blizzard starting around 1998 and is afforded its own chapter in Play Nice. Okay. Nomad was a squad-based sci-fi strategy game based loosely off Warhammer 40,000 tabletop spin-off Necromunda. No shocks there. The project was headed up by Pat Wyatt and Dwayne Stinnett, but Stinnett struggled to convey to Blizzard leaders what exactly Nomad was supposed to be. Well, it seemed conveyed to me pretty easily there by that by that summary. But while Nomad was being tinkered with, to the frustration of those working on it, many developers at Blizzard were obsessed with EverQuest.
Oh, I can see where this is going.
Yeah, I see where this is going too. To the point where it seemed like everyone was talking about trying to make their own version of it. Eventually, the obsession grew so great that Nomad team leaders voted to pivot the project into an EverQuest-like. Thus, Nomad died, and Blizzard set work to what would become World of Warcraft. Surprising absolutely fucking nobody.
So, a squad-based sci-fi strategy game became World of Warcraft somehow. That's weird.
You know what's really weird is that I could see an alternate world in which this spawns the MOBA genre instead of a Warcraft 3 mod. Because squad-based strategy game, I mean, that's basically what a MOBA is. You got like a team of 4 or 6 players.
But I mean, I'm assuming they were referring to a single player.
Probably. But like I said, I can see how this would have maybe inspired Defense of the Ancients.
Or never. Like never did.
Or never
Imagine a world without MOBAs.
Yeah. That's, yeah.
It might be a better world. I don't know.
Who knows?
Who knows? All right.
Oh, man, you get the good one.
Oh, I do. I get a good one.
This is the one.
StarCraft Ghost. It's here. StarCraft Ghost is one of Blizzard's best-known canceled projects. I would say it's probably
it is the
best known. In part thanks to its spirited unveiling at the 2002 Tokyo Game Show. It would have been a
place to audition. No, I'm fucking up. To debut.
Yeah, a Blizzard game. But I mean, Tokyo Game Show back then was bigger than just Japanese games. Everyone kind of went there. It was kind of another E3.
It was another E3, absolutely.
It was a fall E3.
Yeah.
It would have been a third-person shooter set in the StarCraft universe, where players controlled StarCraft character Nova on a series of stealth operations, make use of gadgets, psionic abilities, and super speed to overcome obstacles and stay undetected. Ghost would have also had a multiplayer mode with various possible objectives, such as King of the Hill matches or Capture the Flag. StarCraft Ghost was being co-developed by Nihilistic Software and was planned for a late 2003 release. In Play Nice, Schreier reports that Blizzard proved difficult to work with for Nihilistic, continuously offering strict or confusing direction resulting in lots of thrown-out work. After multiple delays, Nihilistic stepped away from the project, but Ghost wasn't dead just yet.
That's the weirdest sentence I've ever seen. But Ghost wasn't dead?
But
Isn't that what a ghost is?
Yeah. Blizzard partnered with Swingin' Ape Studios to get it across the finish line, but Swingin' Ape kicked its work on Ghost off by throwing out what most of Nihilistic had already done and starting from scratch.
Yep, I remember when that happened.
Early work on the game by the studio prioritized its multiplayer mode, and early prototypes were well received. However, the team struggled to get a single-player mode together that tested well, and with a generation of new consoles, the 360, PS3, and Wii, on the way, there was even more pressure to get something figured out fast, but it never came together. After a series of further delays, StarCraft Ghost was indefinitely postponed, and Swing and Ape developers were either let go or merged into Blizzard to help with World of Warcraft.
Yeah.
In 2014, Mike Morhaime, I guess I would say his name,
I'm assuming.
finally acknowledged Ghost's cancellation in an interview about a different canceled game, but while it's officially dead at Blizzard, a playable build of StarCraft Ghost appeared online in 2020, allowing players a glimpse of what could have been.
Now, I didn't know that, so
I did not know that either.
Probably look that up. But yeah, StarCraft Ghost, I remember well when that was more of a stealthy game, and then new footage came out and it was more of an action-y game, and I'm assuming that's when the development changed hands. Which, I mean, the whole Ghost thing, because those are stealth soldiers in the StarCraft games, having a stealth game, stealth first, action second, seemed like the way to go. Yeah. And I remember people didn't respond as well to the more action-oriented shift, but we still would have liked to see it come out.
I'm looking at footage from that release, that 2020 release, and it looks good.
Let me look this up real quick.
It was in that article.
That's what the link goes to?
Yeah, the allowing players a glimpse of what could have been. That'll go to it, and then just scroll down to...
Yeah, to the video.
There's a gallery video. It's on the left.
Yeah, let me see this.
I could have just sent you the link. Oh my god,
that is the most original Xbox UI I've ever seen. Holy shit.
For StarCraft Ghost?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That shit, I know we talk about this game all the time, but that shit has got brute force all over it.
Yeah.
Like the radar, the health bar, oh my god.
Visually, it's like the character model looks really good.
This looks really nice. Like she's got individual locks of hair and they're moving around and shit. Mm.
I mean, it was PS3 gen, so... I wonder if this was Swing and Ape's design or if this was the nihilistic.
Oh no, this is the original Xbox. The build can be played on the dev kit versions of Xbox, Vanilla Xbox, and Xbox 360. So this isn't a PS... Well, I mean, Xbox 360, so
it was a PS3, yeah. So it's tough to say which version of the game it was.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, the weather effects look good, the water effects look good. Yeah. The detail on that dead soldier, like she's looting right now, I'm just kind of narrating what I'm seeing, looks pretty good.
I mean, it definitely doesn't look like a 9 or 10 out of 10 game, but...
Well, I mean, it's not finished.
No.
I can see, like, some stuff would still need to be done with the hair, like a little more definition in the texture.
And the levels look pretty unpopulated.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's definitely one that I think could have been something at some point.
Yeah, this could have been pretty good. I see some frame rate issues. Not unsurprising for the air. Yeah.
It's basically a pre-alpha, so.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they've got a lot of the UI appears to be done. It's not just placeholder shit.
Maybe it is an alpha. It could be an alpha because there's 6 levels that were in that build. So yeah, could be an alpha.
I mean, a lot of and like you said, we don't know whose version of the game this is.
Yeah.
But I mean, this looks like something that would have been totally fine to play. I kind of feel like this might be the more action-y build because there's a lot of shooting.
Yeah, there's no real stealth going on there.
But, I mean, even then, like it looks like a totally competent third-person shooter.
Yep.
It probably would have been fine.
But Blizzard doesn't like fine.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
But maybe if it had been finished, it would have been better than fine.
Yeah.
But we'll never know.
Nope, we will never know.
If I had seen that, in 2003, I would have been like, yeah, it looks like a fine game. I'll play that.
Agreed.
All right, so next one, Avalon. Revealed for the first time in Play Nice, Minecraft-inspired Avalon was pitched shortly after the release of Diablo 3. Though the initial pitch was greenlit, one of its primary vision holders, which is a weird way of saying designers,
Yeah.
left the company for unrelated reasons while it was being prototyped, and the game was later canceled. So it sounds like whoever was,
Whoever pitched it left, and
yeah, whoever was carrying the flag for that one, I guess, left.
yeah, and they were like, "Well, it was his idea. Fuck it."
Yeah, I mean, it's probably for the best. Like a crafting game trying to compete with Minecraft.
I would love to see a Blizzard like survival type game though. That'd be kind of cool.
It would probably get turned into a battle royale like Fortnite did.
All right, not enough on that one to really dig in.
Yeah.
The next one was Hades. After the release of Diablo 3, work began on a follow-up internally referred to as Hades. Due to Diablo 3's many struggles, the Hades team wanted to do something fresh. Thus, Hades included an over-the-shoulder camera rather than top-down, had punchier combat, permadeath, and more. However, Hades immediately ran into issues with how the combat system worked, compared to the Batman Arkham series. Would work with cooperative multiplayer. Plus, Hades' early development work looked so different from Diablo that many developers wondered if it really qualified as Diablo anymore at all. Eventually, the team lead on Hades, Josh Mosquera?
Mascara, something like
Blizzard.
that.
And when Blizzard leadership evaluated the state of Hades, they ultimately canceled it and opted to start Diablo 4 from scratch instead.
Yeah,
I think that was the
can't
right
really-
call, unless they specifically meant it to be a spin-off.
Yeah, I mean, to make a game that is so much like one of your company's own games, but isn't one of your company's own games. That's really weird. That's like if Rockstar made another open world crime game, but it wasn't Grand Theft Auto, and it was not a spin-off of Grand Theft Auto. It was just, we're doing another one of these.
Wait, they have another over-the-shoulder game?
No, but I mean, like, in terms of, because of this talking about how it was thematically very similar to Diablo.
I think it was supposed to be Diablo.
Yeah, well, it sounds like it was supposed to be Diablo, but then it sounds further and further like maybe they were thinking about spinning it off into its own thing, but then it's like, well, why would we do that when we already have Diablo?
I see what you
Yeah,
mean. So it
maybe
became
I'm
so
reading too-
different that they were
Yeah.
like...
But
Well, I mean,
also,
all they had to do was just name it something different, I suppose. But
yeah, but then you've got two games about fighting hell monsters, or I mean, I'm reading a
Yeah.
lot into this, maybe more than is actually there, but it seems like brand confusion with yourself.
it sounds like they probably had the bones of something good there, though. Maybe not
Yeah.
with the theme, but with the game itself. Although it says they had problems with the combat system working with co-op.
Yeah,
But so don't make a co-op. Blizzard always seems to want to have multiplayer in everything. Like, you don't have to. You can make
Yeah.
single-player games.
yeah, but at that point, they were really, really known for their multi. I mean, they've always been known for their multiplayer
All of their games
stuff.
are multiplayer.
Yeah, so it's kind of a
Except for Lost Vikings, I guess.
I guess, but I mean the design of that game. Well, Lost Vikings and Blackthorn, like I mentioned before, and like some of their other earlier games. But
Yeah. Everything
The game-
post Diablo was multiplayer.
even Warcraft was multiplayer. It had online multiplayer.
Yeah.
So everything
Starcraft,
post Warcraft is. So yeah, I think people would complain if it didn't have multiplayer. You know.
Yeah. True.
So okay, I can understand why that was shelved,
Yeah.
but I mean it would have been neat. I think maybe to do a Diablo game like that.
Like I said, they can still do a spin-off. You know?
Yeah. But I maybe they were just, maybe they didn't want to split the resources between that and Diablo 4.
Yeah, that makes sense. It already took Diablo 4 like forever to come out, so
Yeah. All right, Orbis. Weird.
that's Pokemon Go.
Is monster capturing even a thing in World of Warcraft?
No.
Like, I know that there's pets, but those are like a cosmetic thing, aren't they? Like they just run alongside your character.
Yeah. Well, you can battle them,
Oh. Okay.
but I don't
so,
know if the pet battling thing was out in 2016 or not. It must have.
I have no idea.
I'm trying to remember because it was out when I was playing, so it must have been out. Yeah. So
Okay.
maybe they saw that and how popular it was in WoW, and they were like, maybe we should expand upon this.
Okay. Orbis was in the works beginning around 2016 or so, headed up by Blizzard co-founder Alan Adam as part of a handful of incubation pet projects,
Nah.
which is usually where things live or die at game
Yeah.
studios. Is we come up with a bunch of ideas and then how many of these work? However, Orbis struggled under attrition, scope creep, and COVID-19's impact. So it sounds like it was in development for a while then. It would have been
Yeah,
in
it's like
development for
at
about
least
4 years. Yeah.
Mm.
Worst of all was the team's struggles to make combat good, with Play Nice citing ongoing debates over whether Orbis was Warcraft for casual players or a casual game for hardcore Warcraft players. Yes, I can see that being a point of contention. Orbis ultimately was cancelled, largely due to observation of other Pokemon Go-like games failing one after another to capture the market in the same way their inspiration had. Yeah,
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 that was a good call to cancel that.
that's
I
that's
can't believe it lasted 4 years though.
yeah, that's the most surprising thing about this.
Yeah, like you're not going to capture the casual market with a Warcraft game. You're just not going
Yeah.
to.
And I
And
don't think you're going to capture the hardcore Warcraft fans because they're just going to play World of Warcraft.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised that they even put any effort into this
Yeah,
idea.
like who is this game for?
This sounds like a corporate guy made this
It sounds
decision.
like thinking, oh, we can chase that popular thing with our
Yeah,
popular brand, but no, it's actually not the right fit at all.
no,
So yeah, canceling it was probably the right call.
brutal. All right, next one. A quote turn-based StarCraft game in the style of Civilization.
So it doesn't even have a name.
That didn't even have a name. The header there is basically all we know about this game, which has a blink and you'll miss it appearance in one of Play Nice's later chapters. All we know about it is that Alan Adam briefly flirted with a turn-based StarCraft game in the style of Civilization, and that it was canceled. That's all we know.
Yeah, that's probably
Why do
the
they keep
right
coming back
choice.
to this Civilization idea?
I
Very
sounds
odd.
like it sounds like somebody there, probably Alan Adam, is a fan of Civilization.
Was he the one
And
that
who can
came up
blame
with the
him?
first one? Let's see. Where was that? Shattered Nations, right? Let's see. Yeah, Alan Adam was a fan of turn-based games. Yeah.
Yeah,
He really wants to make a Civilization clone.
yeah.
All right. Well, go somewhere
But
else and do
again,
it.
like I've said, if you want to do a sci-fi Civilization game, there are games out there like that already. Master of Orion it's not exactly the same. You're not laying out cities the way you are in Civilization. The city layouts are automatic. You're colonizing planets. But, I mean, it's a similar idea.
There's also Sins of a Solar Empire.
Sins of the Solar Empire. There's, what is it, Ashes of the Singularity?
Yeah. There's also, well, it's not a space one, so maybe that's not what I'm thinking of. But Sins of a Solar Empire is probably the biggest one I can think of.
Yeah, like there's a bunch of them already.
Yep.
Yes, Titan. I have heard of this.
Yeah, this is a big one. Yeah.
So, and all Blizzard diehards know the story of Titan, a next-gen... What does that even mean, next-gen MMO?
So it was supposed to be their successor to WoW,
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's...
but not WoW, not specific.
Yeah,
It wasn't like a
I-
replacement for WoW. It was like their next MMO.
Okay. I think the only time I've ever seen an MMO get replaced is Final Fantasy XI. At least replaced successfully.
11's still going though.
11's still going, but, I mean, Final Fantasy XIV is where the development is.
I don't
11
think-
isn't...
Yeah, I don't think an MMO has ever been replaced. Like the sequel comes out and then the old one shuts down. Like I don't think like EverQuest 1 and 2 are simultaneously going.
EverQuest 1 is still going.
I will check while you read.
I know that there's, like, again, third-party servers, but anyway. A next-gen MMO focused on superheroes that after 7 years of development hell was canceled after years in development hell. Jesus Christ, IGN, you gotta proofread this shit before you post it. Redundant department... Jesus Christ, it's infecting me now. The redundant Department of Redundancy. Blizzard never technically announced Titan, though it did announce its cancellation. I wonder if it had anything to do with City of Heroes. Play Nice includes a chapter with a far more detailed look into what happened to the Overwatch predecessor. Okay, but here's the short version. Development on Titan began in 2007. And they were... What?
Wow.
They were already thinking of making another MMO that early? World of Warcraft had only been out for 3 years. It was super popular. Why would you think about competing with yourself?
Maybe because they knew it was going to take a long time to make.
Maybe.
Getting ahead of the game. I don't know. Weird.
In response to the success of World of Warcraft, conversations about an inevitable World of Warcraft killer kept popping up all over gaming, so the Blizzard leads decided they ought to be the ones to make it. I guess, Set in the future, players would control superheroes throughout their normal 9 to 5 lives during the day, and then battle evil by night. So you're doing a job and then playing a game? How about you just stick to the playing a game part? The daytime segments were comparable to Animal Crossing or another life sim game where players could decorate their homes, run businesses, or hang out with neighbors. Now here's the thing. If this is an MMO, this is all going to be real time, right?
Yep.
So that sounds like a terrible idea. This isn't like Persona where you have like a few sections of time during the day and then at night you go into the TV world or whatever.
Yeah.
Jesus. The combat may have included teaming up with friends for dungeons or team-based battles. Well, it's an MMO, so I would assume, yes, all of those things. Unfortunately, Titan suffered from leadership disagreements over its direction, which is a theme that we've seen in a lot of these, as well as struggles to find the core loop of the game, which, yes, especially the daytime segments, which is what I have been complaining about for this entire paragraph. Over time, you know what that sounds to me? It sounds like somebody was into The Sims. Yeah. How could we bring The Sims
and superheroes?
Yeah. Which, I mean, is not a bad idea.
It's not a terrible idea.
But for an MMO, it's not a good one. That's a single-player game.
And it's trying to combine a casual audience with a hardcore audience.
Yeah. I think that could be a good single-player game, but I don't think it could be a good MMO. Over time, as the team struggled to make meaningful progress, and other smaller Blizzard projects such as Hearthstone... I don't know if I'd call Hearthstone a smaller project. I mean, maybe it started.
Maybe it was at the time.
At the time, and then exploded. But and other smaller projects such as Hearthstone succeeded. Company leaders reevaluated. Tons of work had been done on Titan, and some of it was reportedly very good and fun, but it all felt disjointed. Yeah, no surprise there. It never came together into a cohesive single game. Eventually, in 2013, Titan was formally rebooted.
Mm-hmm.
Having cost Blizzard $80 million, now it only exists insofar as some of the ideas trickled into what would become Overwatch, but Blizzard never made its own WoW killer, and WoW is still chugging along. Okay, so this sounds like what should happen with Concord, which is salvage some of the ideas and concepts and make another game, a better game.
We still haven't heard anything about that, so maybe they will.
Well, I mean, it's still very fresh.
Yeah.
And that's gonna take time. But hopefully that's what happens, because apparently that worked very well for Blizzard. Because if this is what planted the seeds for Overwatch, well, okay, can't argue with that.
Besides Ghost, this is the only one I knew about. EverQuest 1 and 2 are still going.
Oh, good for them.
EverQuest 1 is getting its 20-second expansion pack. Got its 20-second expansion pack in 2018. So maybe it's up to like 25 by now.
Oh my god. Have you ever seen what that game looks like through today's lens? It looks fucking raw. Well, from the perspective of when it came out, it looked brilliant.
Yeah.
But like, if
EverQuest 2 is still going. It's got a pre-order on their website right now for the next expansion.
Jesus.
Crazy that those two games simultaneously exist. Remember EverQuest Next?
Oh yeah. Are those still being run by Sony, or have they spun out into their own thing? Wasn't that part of their Verant brand way back in the day?
I don't see Sony on the listing for EverQuest 1. I see Dark Paw Games and Daybreak, and that's it. At the bottom.
Yeah, they spun it out. Remember Tannerus? That was another Sony-published game under the Verant label. The Tank.
Tannerus. Oh, the Tank game. That game was sick.
We used to play that.
God, that game was great. I wonder if it's still available.
I don't think it is.
EverQuest 2 is also by Dark Paw Games and Daybreak. So they're simultaneously running two games in the same franchise.
Jesus.
That's weird. I'm going to look up Tannerus real quick.
Let's find out. That was the first...
It was shut down in 2010.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. That was the first online shooter I ever played.
That was so good. I
Yeah, and it
can't
worked
believe.
on dial-up.
I wonder if anyone was keeping that alive somewhere in like a.
Yeah, like an unlicensed server.
Yeah, I'd
We'll,
love
we'll
to
have
play
to
that
look
game
that.
again.
We'll have to look that up after the
So
show.
good. All right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I may have just come up with a title for my list for next week's show.
Oh.
Mm.
All right then. All right. The next one is Orion. Orion was an asynchronous RPG headed up by former Hearthstone director Eric Dodds and several of his colleagues. We don't have too many details on this game. We just know that from Play Nice, it was a blast to play in a room together, but it was much less fun when people were on the go, and it could take hours between each turn. Orion was canceled in 2019 alongside mass layoffs.
Ah,
Interesting.
so
Not
that
much to say on
sound.
that without knowing more about it.
Yeah, yeah.
But see,
There.
more multiplayer.
Yeah. Well, there are some. So there's a game I used to play briefly called Archmage, and it was a browser-based sort of RPG
I think I played that.
empire
Archmage.
management thing. And there was also a sci-fi version called Arch Space, and that was you take turns whenever you know you feel like it.
Sort of a chess by email.
Yeah, almost
Type
like that,
game.
except it was just you were just competing with the entire server instead of with specific people. This sounds like that, except you had a specific game with specific people, and if somebody went to bed for the night and theirs was the only turn that hadn't been completed in a round, you'd have to wait until they woke up the next morning. So I can see
Did you
why
say
that was.
Archmage was a board game?
No, it was a browser based game.
Oh, browser based game. I found a board game. I'm not sure if it's the same one, but
I mean, it's not an uncommon name.
yeah, Archmage. Yeah, you're up next, right?
Yes. So
Ares.
Ares, one of Blizzard's more recent canceled projects, is Ares, a StarCraft shooter designed in the Overwatch engine and inspired by Battlefield. Wow,
Ooh.
history is repeating itself. We
Yeah,
couldn't
but
get-
inspired by Battlefield. That sounds sick.
Yeah. Excuse me. Ares started development near the end of 2016. Boy, they seem to have had a lot of games they were working on around that time. Pitched by StarCraft 2 and Heroes of the Storm director Dustin Browder. The game featured massive teams of players fighting one another and gave them the ability to control various StarCraft units in combat. That might be neat. Ares' cancellation in 2019, alongside the same layoffs that impacted Orion, came as a massive shock, according to one developer, while another said the game was looking quite good at the time. Developers impacted, along with those affected by the cancellation of an additional unannounced mobile game, were moved to work on Diablo 4 and Overwatch 2.
That's a tough one. That sounds like it should have just gone on hold, not canceled.
Yeah,
That sounds like it would have been sick.
yeah. I like I said with Ghost, I've played that.
Why does StarCraft keep getting the?
Yeah, all of these StarCraft games, like for some of them, we've said, yeah, that makes sense to cancel that. We get it.
Yeah, but
The
all the StarCraft
StarCraft
ones.
games were like, no, this sounds sick. Why would you cancel this?
Weird. All right, only two more. Next one is Andromeda. Andromeda is described in Play Nice as a high-fidelity action game like Sony's God of War, but in the Warcraft universe. It was in development in 2020 under the creative direction of Alex
Afrashabi?
Afrasiabi.
Afrashabi? I'm
I'll
going to
go
go
with
with Afrashabi because that
Afrashabi.
sounds smoother.
Who Blizzard fired for misconduct that later came up publicly in a California lawsuit alleging rampant sexual harassment at the company.
Oh, so he was one of those guys.
He was one of those dudes.
Well, fuck him.
Yep. Blizzard endeavored to find a replacement director for Andromeda, but was unable to do so and eventually canceled it.
Okay.
Well,
Don't be a dick and maybe your game won't get canceled.
don't take out your deck and you won't get. What an asshole. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, high fidelity action games set in the Warcraft universe could work.
Yeah, could work.
The problem with Warcraft, though, for me, and in any other aspect, is that it's pretty cartoony.
It is pretty cartoony, but I kind of like that.
But like, I'm picturing God of War, and I'm not seeing Warcraft description at all, and unless they did it in some sort of like
Maybe a little more
cell
exaggerated.
shaded art style or something like that. Maybe I
You
don't
could
know.
do that.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be against that.
Yeah.
All right, and the last one on the list is Odyssey. Like Ares, Odyssey began development in 2016, but stuck around
17.
a bit longer. What did I say?
16.
2017, pardon me. But stuck around a bit longer before it met its demise earlier this year in a story that's told in a bit more detail in Play Nice. Odyssey was a survival game, intended to be the first brand new Blizzard IP since Overwatch, and would have featured game maps of up to 100 players simultaneously.
So,
Concept
survival game.
art suggested a fantasy fairy tale setting connected by a magical portal to modern day Earth.
Ooh, that's cool.
That's fucking Ultima. That's what
That's
Ultima
cool.
is. Yeah, well, it was cool in Ultima, so I'm sure it would have been cool here. Odyssey unfortunately went through a number of development struggles, including a troublesome switch from Unreal Engine to internal engine Synapse, and a lengthy development time. When Microsoft acquired Activision Blizzard last year, developers were optimistic the new leadership would help Odyssey get over the finish line. I don't think I would ever rely on Microsoft for that.
No.
But it was unfortunately canceled by Microsoft as part of the massive restructuring that resulted in 8% of the entire company's gaming staff being let go. Let me ask you something. Does Blizzard have anything other than gaming staff? It's a gaming company. Like, are they excluding like tech support, like IT
Advertising
guys?
lawyers? I don't know.
Maybe gaming staff means anybody who doesn't have an executive position.
Yeah. Assholes. Sounds like
Yeah.
their last 3 projects seem like all good
Yeah, like
ideas. That
yeah.
sucks. Are they ever going to
Yeah.
release something new?
I don't know. I mean, that's what I said when they went for years without making anything new, and then they made Overwatch, so it could happen, but
They're not on a good roll right now.
No.
3 canceled within like 5 years.
no.
It really makes me think though, like if like Diablo 4 was their latest game, right? So they got to be looking towards the future right now. They're like, okay, the latest game's out. Now what's next?
Yeah.
So like they must have something.
but what is
But
it?
what is it? It's not Diablo 5. Diablo 4 is going to be like a 5 to 10 year game, no doubt.
Yeah, probably.
With how they're trickling out the story and this did you see the reviews for the expansion?
No.
It's getting good reviews, but they said that the story felt like just another chapter, not in terms of length, but just in terms of like the storytelling. They're like, it was just another chapter, and it feels like there's tons to go.
Yeah. I mean, the story of Diablo isn't always that complicated. It's,
No.
oh no, there's a demon lord. We've got to get them back into the gemstone.
Yeah, I don't mean it in terms of like how good the story is, but just like
Oh, in terms of how like complete it is?
yeah, like clearly that means that there's going to be like 6 more expansions probably. So it's going to be a while. So that game is like a live service game basically at this point. So and Overwatch 2 is not doing well.
No.
So
Well, by Overwatch standards, it's not doing well.
yes, are we getting Warcraft 4? Are we getting StarCraft 3? Or are we getting
God,
something brand new?
I would like a Warcraft 4, and I would like
A
it
lot of
made-
people would like a Warcraft 4.
I've wanted a Warcraft 4 for a long time.
I would put my money on a new IP
Yeah,
out of anything.
maybe.
But I don't know how Hearthstone's doing.
I mean, well, Hearthstone is... I mean, that's a Warcraft spinoff.
Yeah, that's true.
It even recycles art from the Warcraft CCG.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
Well, I mean, like, okay, sure, it makes sense. You got the art, so why not use it? But
It's true.
still, yeah, I don't know. Fucking maybe they'll make a new Lost Vikings.
Yeah, I don't know about that. Maybe they'll make a new Heroes of the Storm.
Oh Jesus!
Or restart that game. Because I couldn't believe that when they added a patch. Like, they added a patch like 2 or 3 years after they finished.
Was it like
putting
a
it into
security
maintenance mode.
thing?
What's that?
Or was it a security thing?
No, they did like balances and stuff.
That's okay.
Yeah,
that's
it was
weird.
really weird. It was very, very strange. It was like, this is in maintenance mode and you guys made changes? It was very
Yeah.
strange. And it was one patch. That was it. And then
Yeah.
they didn't do
I don't
anything.
know.
Very
I don't
weird.
know. I feel like at one point I could figure out what was, going on at Blizzard, and now I have no fucking idea.
Especially after all of the, the
Yeah,
restructuring
all the employee
and
turnover. Like, how am I supposed to read the minds of the people who are no longer there? Like,
yeah,
I mean, I don't know what they're doing, and it doesn't have any impact on what the company's doing now because they're not there anymore.
no, yeah. So whatever we see next from Blizzard is like the new era of Blizzard.
Yeah,
So
hopefully
we'll
it's
have
a
to wait and
better
see.
era with less sexual harassment and breast milk theft. That one is just,
That's awful.
That's still like the worst one, just for how weird it is. Like stealing an employee's breast milk. That's so gross. It's just so gross. Like
It's
I'm not
gross
saying
in every way imaginable.
like I'm not saying that breast milk is gross. I mean, babies
No.
babies need nourishment, but it's like it feels like
Something
such a
wrong with you.
yeah, like a personal violation. Like this
Yeah. Oh,
came
yeah,
out
it
of my
definitely
body for my baby, and you're taking it. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Exactly.
Yeah, Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Hopefully that company turns around. We'll see.
Yeah.
All right. That brings us to video game 20 questions. And this week, I
I
am
have
guessing.
selected the game.
Yeah.
You are guessing.
And I am not in a good state to do this.
Well, you might actually be in a better state than you realize.
Is that a hint?
It might be.
I don't know if there's a game where you have a headache, but I guess we'll find out. All right.
Are you going to be keeping track, or should I?
No. Yeah, you keep track.
Okay.
My brain is not functioning on all cylinders as it is. So
Do you want to write down the questions you ask, or?
no, that I can do on
Okay.
my own.
All
I
right.
can do that. I can remember my stuff.
Okay.
Okay. Did this game come out in the 70s, 80s, or 90s? Okay. Did this game come out in the 2010s?
No.
2000s?
Yes.
Was this exclusive to one console, not including PC? So it could have come out on PC, but was this exclusive to one console?
Yes.
Okay. Was this exclusive to a
It's not that hard.
Xbox platform?
There's only 3. No.
Nintendo.
Yes.
Okay. A Nintendo platform exclusive, which clearly didn't come to PC, or I mean, highly unlikely.
Was that 5 or 6? They came so fast. I think it was 6. Yeah.
Okay. Was this originally a GameCube exclusive? We're thinking Wii or 64. Oh. I did say console. Do you consider a handheld a console? That's not a question.
Yes, I would say. I'm thinking in terms console is in terms of platform. So yes.
Okay. Was this a handheld game?
Yes.
Okay, so it could be Game Boy, DS. I think the 3DS didn't come out until 2020. Could be GBA too. Fuck. Was this a Game Boy game?
Do you want to specify, or do you just want me to
Was this
answer
an
for
original Game Boy and or Game Boy Color game?
No.
Was this a Game Boy Advance game?
Yes, you are 10 questions in.
Okay, Game Boy Advance exclusive. Oof, this could be tough. And it has to do with me having a headache, potentially. Oh, man. My immediate thought was Brain Age, but I think that was a DS game.
That was a DS game.
Yeah. So, something to do with me potentially having a foggy head or a headache. Oh, man. So, here's a problem. Game Boy Advance was kind of a not significant part of my gaming history. So, this could
That's
be
a
tough.
shame.
I
Game
know
Boy
a lot
Advance-
about the Game Boy Advance, but I didn't play a lot of Game Boy Advance games.
Dude, it has an amazing library.
Yes, it does. I've played a lot of stuff post.
Yeah.
Like I went back and played Zero Mission and Metroid Fusion and stuff like that,
Excellent games.
which are just amazing. Okay, shit. Was this game developed by Nintendo?
No.
Oh, I'm in trouble.
There were a lot of third-party developers.
Yeah, and with my lack of knowledge on Game Boy Advance, I'm probably screwed. Good lord. Was this a licensed game?
Yes. There are lots of those, though, too.
I'm surprised, though. A licensed exclusive on Game Boy Advance.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta figure out what the license was. Was the license a movie license?
No.
So it was either a TV license or maybe a comic book superhero license. I'm thinking superhero. Would that have anything to do with me having a headache? Was this a Marvel or DC license?
No.
What the fuck is this license?
14 questions.
All this dead air gets cut out, so don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Was this a side scroller? I think I'm in trouble. How was the license for? Oh, was this a sports game?
No.
Yeah, I'm in fucking trouble.
That was question number 16.
Yeah, I'm in Schitt's Creek now. So I was thinking maybe a wrestling title, but it would be a sports title. Unless you don't consider wrestling sports, but I would assume you would. Because, I mean, what else would it... Well, it could be a fighting game. What? Well, if it was a wrestling game, would you say it's a sports game?
Would I say it's a sports game? I don't think I would say that wrestling is a sports game. But, I mean, it is kind of sport-ish. But no, I think of sports as like a ball sport.
Could be a wrestling game.
It could be a wrestling game.
Is this a fighting or wrestling game?
No.
Yeah, I'm in deep shit. The only other licenses I can think of are comic book, and they're just not Marvel or DC, or it's a TV show license. What question am I on?
You have 18, 19, and then your guess.
I have 2 questions and a guess.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, is this a TV show or comic book licensed?
Yes. Would you like a hint?
If you would consider that against my record, then no. That's up to you.
At
I'm
this
not ready to
stage,
give up my record if that's going to take away my win.
At this stage, I would say the hint is okay because it's a minor hint.
Okay.
If you had asked those questions individually, the answer would have been yes to either one. Is this a comic book or TV show license? The answer to both of those individually is yes.
But not Marvel or DC.
It is something that has been both a comic book and a TV show.
Ooh, that's tough. What the hell would that be? It'd be The Walking Dead. That's too early.
I cannot believe you're struggling this much with this, but also at the same time I kind of can.
TV show. Oh, shit. Okay. Yeah, I'm never gonna know what title it is, though. That's the problem.
Uh-oh, you've realized too late.
Well, it's not even that. I don't even think I can name an actual title from from that franchise that would be on the GBA. Is this a Ninja Turtles game?
No.
Oh, well, yeah, I'm definitely fucked then. That's the only one I could think of.
That was a good question, but...
Yeah, let me think a little bit more. I'm not going to get it. There's no way I'm going to get it at this point. It's just my guess left.
Yeah.
TV show that was also a comic. Yeah, Ninja Turtles was the only one I could really think. Yeah, I don't know. It's not going to come to me. Well, just give me more hints that you can give. I will consider it not a win at this point.
Okay. The TV show was animated. More hints?
Mm-hmm.
It originates from Japan.
Japanese comic. Well, manga.
Yeah.
There's literally a billion.
Mm-hmm. And there's a lot of them on the GBA.
You're sure I would know this?
Well, here's the thing. Remember I said you,
I have a headache.
yeah, it's not the headache I was referring to. It's something else earlier in the show.
The cat.
Are
Maybe
you
the
sure?
cat. Something else earlier in the show.
You're thinking a little too high concept.
I mean, we talked about Blizzard, but can't think of anything. Oh, is it an Avatar game? I give up. My brain's not gonna get there.
The game is Dragon Ball Z: The Legacy of Goku, which I selected because Doc Harris died.
Right. Right. Yeah, I never would have got that in a million years. Nope.
Not a very good game, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But Legacy of Goku 2 and Boo's Fury, which is the third one, I don't know why they called it Boo's Fury and not Legacy of Goku 3, those are actually pretty good.
Yeah. No, the only Dragon Ball Z game I've ever played would be Fighters.
Yeah, it's a good game. Well, I wasn't all that into it, but that's because it's basically Guilty Gear, and I'm not really into Guilty Gear. But it looks great. It looks almost exactly like the show, better in some cases. So
Yeah, it is visually very, very good. That's
yeah,
just
and Arc System Works has done amazing things with their cell shaded rendering pipeline. It's incredible.
yeah, it's absolutely gorgeous. Sparking Zero looks amazing.
Oh yeah, God, that game has so many playable characters.
183.
Yeah,
And it's selling really well. I guess it's
Yeah,
sold over a million copies or something like
yeah.
crazy like that already.
Oh yeah, people are way 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 into it.
Crazy.
It's pretty
All right.
amazing that Dragon Ball has had this kind of staying power.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Especially with how many episodes there are of that show.
Yeah, and there's a new series coming soon, Dragon
course
Ball
there is.
Daima.
What do you want? You want to come say bye? Come here.
Now you got to have the obligatory Dante appearance.
Yeah, he hasn't appeared yet.
The mouth just a little open, just a little. There it goes. The silent meow of frustration.
You crazy, crazy cat. All right, go away. All right. This has been Press Pause, a gaming podcast. If you want to reach me on Twitter, I am at COE_TJLeo.
And if you want to reach me at Twitter, I almost fucked that up, but I didn't. I saved it. I can be reached at @ninjas. And if you want to send us mail, you can send it to co.op.podcasts@gmail.com.
Look at that. He's taking my outro. I like it.
Yep.
Don't forget to comment, like, share. And if you want to subscribe, you can click here. And if you missed the
Or
last
that
episode,
rainbow
press
button
pause.
that just lit up.
Oh,
Have you
yeah.
seen that yet? The rainbow subscribe button that lights up when somebody says it?
I still haven't gone and checked that yet. I gotta do that.
You got to do that.
I gotta do that.
Yeah, and as
and
you were
if you
saying,
missed-
there will be an episode down somewhere that I can't point to because I'm not on camera. There you go.
Down there. You will be soon, though, right?
At some point.
Everyone is waiting.
Yeah, it's gonna be during that extra we record soon.
That's not what I mean.
Yeah,
That'll be your debut on camera, but it won't be your
Yeah.
permanent camera.
yeah.
Setup.
That's gonna take some work.
All right. All right, that's been Press Pause, a gaming podcast. Now get back to gaming.